All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Ha ha. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Music in Life. Thank you so much for choosing to join in, whether you're joining in on the re-listen or the restream on whatever platform you're on. Thank you. For those of you that are watching here on YouTube Live, we're here with a special guest, someone I had the pleasure of knowing for a pretty damn long time. Like, as I did my research on you, sis, I was like, hold on. I'm getting glimpses of Coyote Radio. I'm like, hey, yo. Yara is in the building. So, please give it up one time for Yara. How you doing?
I'm so good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. You see, look at you. You already out in the world being great. What you up to? How you so busy for the interview? You out on location. You feel me? You got like deals that had to get done right now. I feel you. I appreciate you squeezing me into your busy schedule.
Listen, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
I'm just here so I don't get fined. Marshawn Lynch the Great. Well, we appreciate you being here. For those who are just being introduced to you, you know, I'll just say this. I've seen your growth. Like, I've seen you in different platforms. I've seen you as radio host. I've seen you as singer. Like, the first time I heard you sing was one of my favorite Jill Scott songs, in Long Walk. Shout out Noah James and Lisa J at the Vibe. And
Brick to your face.
Brick to your face. And then I'm like, okay, because I met you there, but then I also met you on location at a photo shoot for a brand called Mo Vintage. And then it's like, okay, everywhere I'm going, she's being great in these environments. And little did I know, sis, you was an old rapping ass rapper. And apparently, according to the internets, you've been writing since the age of 4.
Yes, sir. I wrote my first book. It was definitely a picture book now, so let's not act like I was sitting.
Don't try to downplay it like you did not have a publication at 4 years old. But go ahead.
No. I see. This is where why I'm glad we have conversation. So when I was a toddler, I wrote a book. It was a picture book. Nonetheless, It was a book. It was not published. But that was writing books, and writing has always been like instilled in me even before I knew words type shit, you know?
Right.
So that's more what that means. I definitely was not like writing like crazy stuff at 3 years old, but I did write my first book at 3 years old, 4 years old. And it was a picture book. It was a story of some kind. So
yeah. I was getting ready to say, you know what I was doing at 3, 4 years old?
playing T-ball?
Nah, I wasn't even playing T-ball. I probably was trying to figure out what X-Men I was gonna be for Halloween. Yeah. I probably wasn't even. I know for sure. If you look at the chicken scratch that exists today, you for sure know I wasn't making no picture books. I was drawing a little bit, but it's remarkable. But I have to salute you, especially independent to independent. I've seen your grind, and I've seen you just continue to rise, and we've passed one another. Like I said, I think we saw each other at the Lamert Black to the Future event. We've seen each other at the festival, the tech event. Yeah. So let these folks know about you and where you're from and what it is that you do, because you wear many hats.
Well, I appreciate you just taking note of that, all the growth and stuff, because I definitely, just so y'all know, like when we were younger, like I would follow behind these guys and just be like taking notes about like what you were doing, you know? So like it's all full circle. And so, you know, like I remember you guys doing paid dues and stuff, you know, that meant a lot for us to see y'all doing those things.
Yeah.
So, you know, I definitely I'm gracious, but don't ever forget, like we saw y'all doing those things in the IE. So that opened doors for us to be able to do what I'm doing, you know? So definitely remember those days of like super grinding and everyone just trying to figure out the damn internet and stuff and getting more eyes on our area, which is the Inland Empire. So
right.
I guess like That's a good segue. So, like, I'm from San Bernardino, born at San Bernardino Hospital. I was raised more on the north end, but I have family on the west side too. So both areas mostly. We moved around the inland a lot though. So I lived in Riverside too, Fontana. You know the
Hmm.
IE. You kind of
Absolutely.
circulate. Yes, it's easy to go from Rialto to Riverside or something.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like our version of boroughs. Like when you hear people talk about New York and they talk about how every single part of this borough kind of has a whole nother mentality. That same thing exists when you see even people who do like TikTok memes about like Rialto be like, or Rancho be like, or you know what I'm saying,
yeah.
or however long you want to San Bernardino be like. So every single one of these boroughs have their own character and personality, and I came in as someone who, was born and raised more so in Los Angeles and the surrounding cities. So when I came out there, it was such a culture
Mhm.
shock because I was like, yo, it's so dope to see all the arts and the artistic people in the same place coexisting and there not be like a
Mhm.
separation. So an opportunity for us
Yeah.
to even cross paths. And we didn't cross paths with music first. Like I said earlier, it was a photo
No.
shoot that we actually
We
hadn't
both
even
were
met there.
modeling.
Oh.
Yeah, we both were
Don't be telling
models
these
for
people I
this.
was modeling. Don't tell them. Don't
You were,
they don't
you
know me
were.
as no model. Don't be telling nobody I was out here modeling. I was out here. I was out here standing, and the
Listen,
pictures was going off.
let me tell y'all about this man. Okay, first of all, he was oiled up. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, don't do me like that. They gonna look for it. Somebody looking to slander my name right now.
No, I'm just kidding, y'all. It was called Mo Vintage. Shout out to Mo Vintage
Shout out to
clothing
my
brand.
vintage. Yeah.
It was a combination of thrifted and consignment and handmade things. And so that's where Curtis and I first met because we both happened to be modeling and representing that company. He was already doing music at that time. I hadn't recorded yet. So I was, again, like following around artists in my community, like trying to be like them and like, ooh, what y'all got going on? Like, how can I be of help or like, contribute?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I liked about our scene in the IE, like more than other scenes, is that like we really like we're not as competitive, I would say, and there's more women around. You guys never
Mm.
was like weird to any of the girls, like so. I'm so grateful that I got a chance to start where we're from because unlike any other place, it's like it's not country, but it's not city.
Yeah.
It's close enough to be in Hollywood, but we all have our own thing. And in addition, we didn't grow up with 100 studios on every block,
That part.
which forced us all to have multiple skills. You feel
Mm-hmm.
me? There's only one studio like downtown Riverside that I remember like that's still there today. Other than that, like we had to have home studios, Shed Boys, Fontana, like I had to eventually got my own studio and learned to do it. So I
Yeah.
think that IE artists, we're very flexible. We can we can like do mad shit because we didn't have the resources that a Los Angeles artist might have inherited or grown up around.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I learned how to do a lot of things because we didn't grow up with mad investors around and
These are
like
facts.
Jewish people are not in San Bernardino.
Well, and if they are, they folks come out to the IE. I found like even folks who were like celebrity type, they come out to the IE to get away from business. Even when you talk about like how many like even like officers are out here, they come from
hmm
LAPD and they come out here to rest their head and kind of get away from even conducting any business. So if that doesn't exist, I think a lot of folks come out here and operate that way. But as I tell you this,
hmm
as a guy, I still found it a lot easier to at least like the first place I ever got to in the IE that was artistically involved was Lion Like Mind State. I got invited to the open mic, and because
That's
I could
Pomona,
Pomona,
right?
yeah, Pomona, right.
Yep.
Well, I mean, well,
Yep.
yeah, yeah, but it was Judah One who was obviously involved in a lot of IE events, but that
hmm
led me over to Dim Lights, and then I met Noah James and folks that would be responsible for my first shows in the IE through. But as a guy, I think I might have even took it for granted how easy it was to maneuver. Did you? I mean, even when we talk about like, I think ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand how special of an opportunity this is to talk to Yara, because she don't do many interviews. And not to disclose the reasons why, but all I'm going to say is, especially y'all in media, some of y'all weird, first of all. All right? I'm going to speak on behalf of the dudes in hip-hop. Some of y'all just weird, and it makes it very uncomfortable for folks to just be themselves on those platforms. But that being said, how have you found, even doing all the things that you do, the challenge of being a woman in this environment and maneuvering through these different avenues? Because I know some guys that'll get like insecure about you being doper in multiple levels than them.
I'm gonna keep it so honest. Like, it's a chess game that's ongoing. There's not even an answer to that, because like I'm still having to do that.
Yeah.
But as far as like, one way is to respect yourself, because the moment that as a woman you allow a man to tell you what you're gonna say, do, rap, think, and show and wear and present your online image, you've lost your artistic integrity, and you've lost your self-respect, because now you grew up being in choir and putting these hours in and learning the piano and learning all these things, but somebody sees you as a money-making vessel and not an artist with your own thoughts or your own style. Women don't even get to develop, dude. Like, by
What do
the
you
time
mean?
a woman, like, women don't get to develop, because like, I've been offered deals before, right, or situations, and the only way that they will let me be a part of it is if I let them write my music.
Wow. So you mean control all the creativity, as if you haven't been, as if your
Dude,
pen hasn't
I've
been active since you've been 4.
yeah, yes, and that's for all young women. Like, let's say a teenage girl, right? She wants to learn music. Well, automatically they gonna look at her and be like, well, what does she look like? As a rapper, as a man, you can be a slob and get your bars off. You don't have to be fresh.
This is
You
true.
don't have to, like, no one's gonna tell you like do it like this. So it's like, from the moment a female even says, I want to be an artist, there's 1,000 people trying to make money off her image if she's pretty, quote unquote, right? Now let's say she's a girl who traditionally is not this sexy girl, or let's say she just plays the trumpet and she's fire, but she doesn't want to be the sexy girl. Well, her odds just cut in to oblivion, right? Because, or let's say she's a dark skinned girl. Let's keep it 1,000 right now. Let's
Yeah.
say she's a chocolate skinned girl. We've seen it. We've seen it on the Rick Ross shit when he had the singing competition. Like, that was crazy.
Yeah, the fact
When
that
you
is,
know that clip?
because you know it exists. We know it exists in that space, but you just don't see it
Mhm.
that blatant in public. Where it's like, the cameras is on right now, right?
I remember they both sang, and the girl that was the sexy girl was trash, and then the chocolate girl was fire.
Yeah.
And Rick Ross was like, I don't think you have it, or something. Like,
Like,
us being like, you and I are both light-skinned Black people, so like we have mad privilege. Like, so to bring it home, what I'm saying about a woman wanting to be an artist or a public figure, the sexy girl shit is it right now, man. It ain't no Queen Latifah. It ain't no motherfucking, like, in the 90s, it was the sexy girls and the queens and the hipsters and the girls with the locks and the chocolate girls and the big girls.
yeah,
Right now, it is BBL City, boy.
it is.
Okay,
Well, let
like,
me let
and
me
I'm
ask you
not.
this, and I want you to bring that point home. But let me ask you this:
Hmm.
why, when we talk about the '90s, and obviously I'm not trying to mansplain this because you have a better POV than I do, than I could ever have in this topic, but in the 90s, you at least saw the opportunity for the audience to make a decision, for the audience to choose a Queen Latifah and say, I don't care what she looks like in terms of the general idea of what whatever is. I love this
Hmm.
song. I remember being a kid, like, my mama had to stop me from cussing. Who you calling him? Like, I'm like, oh, I'm not supposed to say that. My bad. Okay, well, but I say that to say I wasn't judging the beautiful sonics that I'm hearing based upon what appears in front of me
Based
and how I
upon her,
feel
based
about that.
upon her booty, based upon
You know what
her
I'm saying?
booty.
But I asked that, why don't you feel, or do you feel that same balance or opportunity exists? Because it seems like, especially when you talk about the major label ecosystem, they were just like,
Hmm.
everything's gone. We just want only talk about this, only make it supremely sexy. And it's so crazy watching folks, like watching women that come into the game a certain way, like doing them. You could tell it's them styling themselves. You can tell it's them like representing how they want to represent. And you slowly start to see the labels start to get edgewise in decision making on their appearance and who they
Yeah.
work with. Why do you think that balance, or do you think that balance, first of all, exists? And if not, why not today?
Well, we all know that sex sells, whether you're selling a Carl's Jr. burger or a song or something, right? But at the same time, like if you want to, let's say, like my idea of success is different than another quote unquote female rappers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's say my idea of success included having a Nicki Minaj level career.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I just use my brain and look at the statistics of women who have been able to make seven figures or more off of hip hop, what do they look like? What do they sound like? What does their online promotional look like? And from there, you have to keep it a buck. And like the way that they mix prostitution in with female rap right now,
Mm-hmm.
I can't explain that because I'm not cut from that. And for me, I'm an artist, like, because that's what I was born. Like, I don't do this. Like I said, my idea of success isn't necessarily to be the top dog. However, if I wanted that, why should I have to behave a certain way or
Mm-hmm.
carry myself in a sexual, or have the same poses as a porn cover or wear like I should wear what I want, whether I want to dress sexy or dress like I'm going to church.
Yeah.
It's my body. That's why I don't like when people try to put me in that box because I'm not anti-sexy. Don't get me wrong. I'm anti-prostitution and rap.
Mm. How,
That's not that's a
right.
difference.
And I'm not sure how to actually pose this, but if we were getting into the specifics of what that looks like how would you,
Hmm.
how would you, I guess, obviously in a way that you feel comfortable presenting, like, how do we identify that when we hear it? Because sometimes we're met with, I mean, folks who are not lyricists like you and I are met with
Hmm.
music. The beat is the first thing that catches our attention, and then maybe it might be a hook. And it's so
Yeah.
crazy sometimes. And the reason I ask is because it's so crazy sometimes how you'll hear like something empowering in a hook,
Hmm.
but then the verse like completely negates that empowerment. So how do you identify that? And when do your ears, basically when do your ears rise up and you're like, hell no, I gotta turn this off?
Well, well, for me, like I'm a product of hip hop, so I feel like again, women can be sexy and be sexual on a song, right? There's
Right.
nothing wrong with that. For me, it's when, first of all, if I know a man is writing a woman's raps, me personally, I'm not even that interested in
Talk
that
about it.
woman after a while because, like, this is his thoughts. You have 17 men telling you, like, what, like, let me give an example. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm only giving this example not because I want to throw shade. I'm simply answering your question. So to
Sure.
anybody, like I can't see the comments right now, so I want y'all to keep this shit in context, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like Cardi B has a bar where she says, "Why don't you park your Big Mac truck in my little garage?" Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you something. When's the last time you heard of a woman call her coochie a garage?
Never. Never.
Okay.
That's suspicious.
When I
Speaking of which, that's
or
suspicious.
Yes. Okay. So do you see that? Like, I guess to answer you, when I start hearing things where I can tell a man is expressing a woman's
Yes.
sexuality or expressing a woman's point of view on things, and then in turn, our daughters are listening to that. Meanwhile, a woman didn't even write that because a
Mm-hmm.
woman ain't calling her coochie no garage, bro. If she is, I
Yeah.
can't explain that. But I've never heard that in like So it's things like that, or like Nicki Minaj said. This is why I love Nicki Minaj
Mm-hmm.
because yes, she's a sexy girl, but guess what? She can perform.
Mm-hmm.
She writes her own lyrics. She has had some of the best verses against her male counterparts. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like at the end of the day, are we rapping or selling pussy, bro?
That's a good question. That's a good question. But and I feel where you coming from because I know that you take that and say like use your power and you understand the power that you have as a woman. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if because I've seen here's another angle of this. I've seen scenarios in
Mm-hmm.
which women come into an environment and they're already insecure about so much in that environment because of what the guys are telling them, and then they feel outnumbered, and then they're led to believe that this opportunity that's in front of them they may not have ever again if they don't abide or if they don't adjust to whatever political system that is. And I've seen a lot of women buckle under that pressure. I've seen guys buckle under that pressure
Oh yeah.
to, you know what I mean, because they just don't want to ruin that opportunity. uh,
Mm-hmm.
what do you kind of say to them? Because I'm sure that you come in contact with a lot of folks who look up to you. Because that's the one thing I can
Yeah.
say since I've known you is that you're not afraid to speak up for yourself.
No, and like that's my personality though. And unfortunately, a lot of young women like they do succumb to pressure because the lack of opportunity. Let's break this down logically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you're a label. You got 10 spots on the team. We're going to play basketball right now. Well, 7 are going to men. There's that.
Yeah.
7 to 8 are going to the men. So we got 2 left for the girls, right? Well, out of those 7 or 8 men, you already know half of them going to probably get shelved, or a
Mm-hmm.
third of them. And then most of them are going to be probably trap rap or some form of street rap, right?
Mm-hmm.
So out of those 8 to 7 men, we might have one conscious dude, and he probably gonna get shelved. So there's the guys. There's
Yeah.
there's the 7 to 8 guys. Let's go to the girls. We got 2 spots for the girls, right? What you think they got to do for them 2 spots? Like,
Mm.
and then do you think it's gonna be somebody like let's bring it to current. Somebody like what's her name from Philly, who's fire. She's real creative. You know who I'm talking
Who
about?
you
The
talk? If I,
chocolate girl.
if I know if I know the
Damn, what's her
song, it'll come to
name?
me. It's a few. There's a few out
She
right
got
now.
mad commercials and stuff. But anyway, she's
Yeah.
fire. But like, it's not gonna. She reminds me of a young like Missy Elliott vibe. It's not
Mm.
gonna go to her or a Chica,
Is it
or
no name?
No, I love No Name too, but that works there too. I'm
Okay.
talking about Tierra Whack. There we
Tierra
go.
Whack.
But guess what? Let's
Woo!
use both of them. You think
Yeah.
you think there's only 2 spots for the girls? We've already established that,
Yeah.
right? Do you think those 2 spots are gonna go to No Name and Tierra?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and then do you think that either of those women are gonna be able to have artistic control based off history, not opinion?
Mm-hmm. Well,
And then do you
we kind
go
of saw.
ahead?
I'm about to say we kind of saw with Rhapsody a bit. I mean, I'm not sure if you were around when she was part of. I think the name of the group was Cooley High, and she
Okay.
came and performed at the Vibe, and like we saw the early years of her, and it was like, yo, like they're dope, but who is she? Like she sound like she had like the double time flow of the folks that were really popping at that time, like a Kendrick, and it's like, yo, who is this? And I remember
And
like Cornbread, she rapped us on the Cornbread, he almost fainted. So that being that being said, you're right. I mean, because basically I saw that story to say I've saw her go through a transition that's like, damn, like I truly hope this is just like as someone in this independent space that every one of those decisions was her decisions, because I know you get in an environment around guys who think they know better and some of them have done things. It's easy to just give them all of the to get basically to for them to take on all the decisions, and then you're the one taking on all the risk.
right, and it's your name at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, men don't treat each other like that as much.
Mm-mm.
I've been
Hell
around
no.
doing this long enough.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna go tell Noah James, go back and do it a fucking again. He gonna, like, if y'all do, it's because y'all have that relationship, but you're not gonna just take a dude off the street and tell him what to do
Yeah.
because these little niggas is crazy.
Yeah.
So there's that. Like, but as a woman, the moment you decide you want to be in a creative or entertainment field, there are a thousand vultures ready to quote unquote mold you, direct you,
Mm-hmm.
lead you, clean up your image. You can't even develop. I've had to protect my sound because I had to develop myself damn near because people didn't like believe in my sound at first. I've had people let me tell you multiple things, right? I've
Mm-hmm.
had someone tell me cut my hair. It's a distraction. I've had someone tell me stop singing and I'll manage you. Stop rapping and I'll manage you. Let me write your music and I'll manage you.
Yeah.
Let me just obviously let me have sex with you and I'll manage you. All these different things.
Wow.
And it's just like, or you can't come in this room until that happens, like, or a dude just randomly start touching my leg in the session. What the fuck?
Stop being
I'm s-
weird, y'all. What are y'all doing out here? What are we doing? Like I know that I don't, and the thing is, I don't want the emphasis of this conversation to be on that because you're doing such amazing things. They're not your story, right? I see
Absolutely not.
the reason I reached out to you too, and obviously I don't want to skip on this, but the reason I reached
Hmm.
out to you is because of how much you've been standing on your shit, like all 10 toes on your
Thank
independence,
you.
and how your music is a reflection of the person that I came to know, right? I don't listen to the music and be
Mhm.
like, who the hell is that? Like I listen to the music, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the homegirl. Like, but it's
Yeah.
so unfortunate because I hear these stories, especially from my sisters in here that I in this space. I hear these stories, but it's
Mhm.
you be surprised how many of the guys, our peers, um, they don't disclose or they don't talk about the like, oh man, I had her in there and I did it. So it's like a lot of times we're not even in a position to protect our women,
Mm-mm.
especially for those of us that know better, that were raised better than that. But
Because you don't
that's
want to tell everybody sometimes. See, like, this dude is popping right now. Like, I should just eat that. I'm just gonna eat that. What happened last
oh,
night? I'm just gonna eat that because now I look weak, or I look like a snitch, or I look like I can't be around the men because I'm telling them what this man did, so they might not want me around. So guess what? I'm gonna just eat
mm,
that little punch to the face.
yeah.
At least I didn't get raped.
But see, and I can't imagine. See this, and this is what I think about too, especially like having my wife and knowing like the things that she deals with in different rooms, with her having her own
Hmm.
business and hearing some of these things, and I'm like, there's a certain even like going out in public and you hear all these stories about folks getting kidnapped, and I'm like, these are things that as a man I'm not even. That's not even in my brain. Like I got
Yeah,
a list of
you
about
can't even
five things.
fathom.
I can't even fathom that, but I imagine when you go
Hmm.
into these studios before you even agree, even like with me, you've known me for years, and you were still
Hmm.
like, like I know you, everything's cool, but just want to make sure that there ain't gonna be no weird questions or nothing like this.
Yeah,
Question I have for you
yeah.
though specifically is like, what kind of pressure does that put on you in an environment where there's already pressure to deliver on your art form?
Man, I'm from San Bernardino, so
Talk
I
about
think
it.
I'm under pressure, bro. I can't get no. It can't get no more. Ain't nothing.
I feel that.
I was born with nothing, whether I'm a man or a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first thing. Like, I'm not from a place that's positive according to the media or the numbers, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I think as a human being, just being from where I'm from, which actually I made a post a couple weeks ago. I said, my people from Chicago, DC, Virginia, if you're from the bottom, Florida, like, don't give up because like the world tries to act like everybody's rich and all this shit. Like, that ain't the truth. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we're a lot of us are from, you could rub two pennies together, or like single moms, or like food stamps and shit. Like, man, Walmart shoes. So it's like, I feel like I was born under pressure, being born where I was born. But as a woman, the thing that keeps me going is that when we do make it, we really make it.
We really,
So
because we getting a different kind of reward at that point. And that,
I might get me a lip gloss still.
you feel me?
I
Like,
wake up,
talk
you
about
can't
it.
get a lip gloss
No,
still,
I ain't
right?
trying.
So
Look. The way you talking about how I was oiled up on a model shoot, maybe now, maybe they may feel comfortable reaching out because you said it. Why you had to go in? They in there taking pictures of the chat. Let me say real quick. Shout out to Tyra White. She said when she was in response to what you said. She said that's when a nigga get a cosign for that ass whooping. Hands off. Look.
come on,
The energy's
come
different.
on,
Well, let me ask you,
come on.
especially as someone, because I spent years in San Bernardino, living there with the homie Jinx. Obviously, I've done a million shows when I lived out in the IE in San Bernardino, and just living there, I get the energy, pumping gas in certain places. It's like, oh, I thought I
Come on,
left this when
man.
I left parts of LA. I was like, oh, this is different. That being
Hmm.
said, though, in coming from that environment, here's something I noticed is a lot of folks who grow up in the IE, like you said, born and raised in the IE, don't always have like that hometown pride. And the reason I bring this up because there's a lot of folks in here who don't have that hometown pride, and they get almost embarrassed from being quote unquote local or whatever the case may be. And I always make the point like we only become embarrassed about the term local when it comes to music. When you talk about locally grown vegetables, locally grown weed, we get hype because
Yeah,
it's like, yo, I'm
yeah,
supporting somebody from my city. But when it's music,
right.
that's like an insult. So let me ask you this. I've met so many artists that have come up in San Bernardino and have just been jaded by the environment as a whole. What keeps you what has kept you like going so strong and also just keeping that same drive and ferociousness and also that pride in where you're from?
Well, I have pride in where I'm from because that's where I'm from. I don't know why God made me born at that latitude, longitude with
He
these
chose that
two
one for a
crazy
reason.
people.
Right.
Yeah, so I accept the things about me like that's what makes me dope. Like I'm from a place where that is primarily Black and Latino in Cali.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't really grow up like this might sound rude, but like around white people, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So like I didn't grow up in LA where there's pressure to be on a label or drive a
Mm.
Mercedes. I didn't grow up around 1,000 Mercedes or
Yeah.
having to have these luxury items. So like, I mean, yeah, like somebody could think that shit is whack, like, because I'm not from a big city. But like at the same time, people be scared to go where I'm from. So like
Mm-hmm.
we can find good and bad in every city, but never forget your roots. Somebody who does a good job of that to me is Kendrick, because
Yeah.
Kendrick is gonna tell you like he's like a Nas. He might not have been in the activity, but he was around it. He could have been. That's kind of how I am. Like
Yeah.
I could have been involved in a lot of more negativity, or giving my bars to like more street style or something, or like join a gang, like. But at the same time, like I was also raised better. So,
Mm-hmm.
like my family, like a lot of my family is in gangs. A lot of my family sold drugs. A lot of my family used drugs.
Yeah.
I got family locked up forever. So like I'm like a Kendrick in that way, where like I kind of had a choice because my mother worked hard to keep us away, but we still saw it all damn near. So at that point, I have to make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got to make a choice. Are you going to promote? What are you going to promote? What is, and like also don't box yourself. If you, maybe you are like a street rapper, but then you want to get conscious, like do that. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
you start off like with the sexy girl raps, but like you want to evolve, like evolve. I also don't judge that type of music. Again, my only issue is when they mix straight up prostitute with female rap.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
my issue. Not rapping about sex or being sexy. It's when that's all we have. Like,
It's
or you have,
dehumanizing.
yes, or you have to do that to get a look. Because the boys don't have to sell dick.
No. Thank God. I tell you know, I don't mean to, I don't mean to strip my privilege around, but like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I like, and I'm like, just thinking the idea now of like making up bars to describe my thing. I'm like, no, Phil, I'll get tired. I'll be like, can I talk about something else? But that's just
Curtis, you
me.
know what's so funny? I don't even have, you can count on my hand. You
Yeah,
can count on one hand how many songs about men I have or love songs. I don't even,
me too
and I'm
though.
so great. And any love songs, yeah, like I'm so
Yeah.
grateful, like, because I don't feel like I have to talk about that. Like, I have 1,000 thoughts in a day, and like, men are not the top thought. So, like,
Yeah.
even when I'm in love, I'm not thinking about that nigga. I'm thinking about, I mean, I am, but like not in my music. Like I'm thinking about like, dude, like, are you
Wait.
seeing what's happening like in Syria right now? Like,
Why
let's
you
write about that.
why you had
Like,
to be so cold? Why you had to be so cold? You can't just skim over that real quick. You can't just I ain't think about this nigga.
like I'm not trying to be like writing bars about him.
I
Like
feel you.
I'm at the studio. Like,
Think
girl,
about
what
this
we got
nigga.
going on? Yeah, like I'm not trying to be like, ooh, daddy. Like I have
Where
so
you
many
at?
other.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, like I just saw him. He gonna be good if I
Right.
don't write a song about him. Like, so even the things I think about, I don't know what other women think about all this.
Hmm.
But for me, I don't even be thinking about like my music. I think about everything else. That's why, like I told you, now that I think of it, I don't even have a lot of love or sex songs. I
Hmm.
be just having barred up songs because
Yeah.
I don't feel like a man is around. I'm not rapping my world like in my art. Like I think the exception to that is if you're an R&B singer, obviously, because
Hmm.
you're writing about love. But I'm saying as strictly a female rapper, I'm not thinking about my vagina. I'm not thinking about this nigga
Hmm.
or I'm just thinking about what my natural thoughts of life are and writing songs.
Yeah.
Nobody's Planet Asia is not forcing me of what to write about. Like
Yeah.
he's not telling me don't do that, don't wear that. He allows me to be an artist.
And I definitely want to transition to that because this is a part of the conversation where I gotta salute so much to your independence, and I'm so glad you were able to
Thank you.
like break down the reasons why it kind of. I mean, it's funny because you kind of answered the question without me even asking of why does independence feel like the best route for you. But you
Hmm.
literally have told us a story. Like, think about how many boxes women are put into. Think about how many pressure situations that for other people is a lot more pressure than it would be for you because you're from San Bernardino, first and foremost. And then other folk, then just the environment in general, like, you want to be as creative as possible. And that is not just encompass your music, that encompass your style, that encompasses the thoughts that you want to share that
Yes.
day. Like, the other day is funny because somebody asked me a question about how do you stop comparing yourself to other people, and I was like, bro, if you Google right now how many thoughts we have as human beings on average, I think the first thing that popped up was 6,500 thoughts, 6,500 thoughts a day. I said that is a bank that gets filled up every single day. Excuse me, filled up every single day in the morning, but you get rid of it throughout the day. You cannot
Yeah,
afford to waste those thoughts on people because you
on
got
other
things like
people. Oh,
what you gonna
how about
wear, all of these
this?
different things. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't mean to cut you
You
off. Just
got.
to add on, how about this? Work on yourself because that's where your confidence comes from, is that
Mm-hmm.
10,000 hours. The
Mm-hmm.
reason why I could walk into a room full of men and lay a verse down in the pits of lions den
Mm-hmm.
and still be my feminine self is because I know I can rap. But why
Mm.
can't I rap? I fucking I'm crazy. Like I've slept like I sleep in the studio.
Yeah.
Like I listen to full albums and study. Like
Who you
like I have a
study?
list.
Give us some of these study sheets. Give us some of these folks that who does Yara study? Like who is the folks that
Okay.
when they drop you like I can't even get in fan mode yet. I gotta study how they got all this dexterity and all of this detail off. Talk to us.
Like there's people I study for different reasons. So if we're talking about like MC,
Mm-hmm.
I'm studying the classics because these niggas today lost the sauce.
Show
I'm not
did.
I'm not I'm not looking at nobody new, to be honest, until I get to it. But
Mm-hmm.
like, I have a list right now in my studio. It's called 100 albums to listen to before summer. And I wrote down 100 of the top rap albums. Some I've heard my whole life, some I haven't. And I'm just going, I play full albums start to bottom. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care what people say about albums are dead. No, they're not.
No.
They're not
No.
dead. And we need to like kill that, and like people like me and you gotta remember that, like don't like like not to reinforce that, because what, that's like
Mm-hmm.
saying movies are dead, the attention span is short. No, movies aren't dead, albums aren't dead, like you just, we just have to evolve. But
Mm-hmm.
so I would say the last album I studied was definitely the Roots, um Philadelphia, Half-Life.
Talk about it.
I was
Yeah.
on that album front to back, no interruptions. Like when I study an album, I try not to be on social media
Mm-hmm.
because I try to like step into the album, and I think about what those people like were doing at that time, that year, and you know what I'm saying? Like I
Mm-hmm.
kind of like submerge my mind into an album. I definitely studied Nas, like a Nas full album front to back.
Mm-hmm.
I study, as far as women, I would say the last full like female album I played. I definitely played Nicki Minaj Pink Print recently,
Fire.
because you might not like someone's bars also, but like there's something about them that made them successful and get on
Mm-hmm.
these lists. And so
Mm-hmm.
I might not even like an artist, but if I look back and they were on the source cover, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna go look up that album
Good
from,
stuff.
you know, '02 or something, because like what got like Sci High the Prince on this cover or something, right? Like what got what, why are all these people like listening to 21 Savage?
Yeah.
You might not like him, but the nigga's going crazy, so like go play an album.
It's
Like
so
just
scary hearing you say that. It's so scary because that's what I do as well. Is that I may
mm,
not necessarily, I like, I'll listen to an album and be like, I'm not the demographic. Family, I know I'm not the demographic. I know this is not for me. I know
yeah.
this is for some like some headbanging ass 17-year-olds. I get it. But damn it,
Mm,
there's something that they have unlocked or they're connected
yes.
to that I need to know a little bit more about. So I don't want to cut your point off because I definitely want you to make it home on that one. But what I am interested also, in addition to what you were covering, is what specific things are you studying as a lyricist?
Well, for me, like, well, to agree with you, I'm glad that I'm not the only creative that does that. That's how you know we're dedicated, because becoming a great musician is not just about what you have to say, it's about listening.
Mm-hmm.
And the more albums you listen to, the sharper your pen's going to be. I don't give a fuck who you are.
Yeah.
Like, the more music you listen to, the better your mixing is going to be. The more music you listen to, the better your wordplay is going to be, right? So
Facts.
like I'm glad that like you relate to that being self-taught as well, because that's important. 90% of studying is listening, not writing your bars. But when I'm listening to an album, I'm studying like, well, I try to look at the context first. Context is king, bro. People are
So
stupid as hell. So like I try, like before judging an album, right? Let's say it's Souls of Mischief,
okay. Yeah.
they
Yeah. Yeah.
debut
Yeah.
album. I'm gonna go see what was going on in Oakland at that time, maybe. So I
Mm-hmm.
could kind of like put myself in that world. I'm listening to from A to Z, no skipping, unless
Mm-hmm.
something's like dummy trash to me, which even then I try to listen, but I'm listening to like the beat selection,
Mm-hmm.
the skits. I'm listening to like the thoughts they have, even more than the flows. Because you could teach a flow, that's poetry. A B A B.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could easily learn a flow, but it's the style. I'm listening to like the personality, because right now another thing is everybody be trying to censor everybody's opinions. Back
Mm-hmm.
in the day, man, how could we have ever got NWA if they were listening to everybody,
That part.
or someone like Public Enemy or Queen Latifah, you know, like so I try to like look at the times, like the culture time,
Mm-hmm.
and of the time that the art came out.
Yeah.
So I'm studying that from that perspective. And you know, I'm not an East Coast girl, so like I'm learning about Philly when I go listen to an Ella Duff album or a
Mm-hmm.
Jill Scott album, or I'm learning about like Queens when I play Nas, right? Like
Yeah.
so I'm trying to learn about hip hop, and then as a musician, beat selection, skit selection, not really rhyme scheme, because like I said, you could do that separately, but I'm looking at the cover art.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the producers always. I'm always following people based off the people that niggas always worried about the rapper. I'm looking at the dude who made the fucking like harp noise. I'm gonna go
Mm-hmm.
look up that name
Mm-hmm.
and or that producer, like so I try to digest it as a whole.
Right. And I think that's
Hmm.
something that you have had such a great grasp on. I mean, I don't know how dated or outdated because you release a lot of music, 10
Hmm.
mixtapes, and 17 releases before. Hold on, before you inked a distribution deal. How? What? What?
I love it. I just
Independence
love
is a
it.
beautiful thing, isn't it?
It is, and also like nobody could tell you what to do. Like you could drop something and delete it. You could drop some, make it better, put it back up,
That's my
get
favorite
your
button.
homie on the
Too Short said, "What's
verse.
my favorite word?" Somebody asked me, "What's your favorite keyboard button?" Delete. Why you gotta say it like Kurt? Delete. Act like it never existed. What you mean? What mistake? Get out my face.
Yeah, yeah. But also again, like you gotta be who you are. Like
Mm,
maybe you're not someone who has a lot to say, but you're still a great artist.
yeah.
Accept that. But then make sure when you drop, your shit is it better leave a remnant, like it better be a good chunk of music. Like so like I just love music. Me and you could probably lab up for 8 hours and make an album. Cause I
Easy.
just
Come on now.
yeah, I
That's
just
what I was saying. Like and
yeah.
I'll be honest with you, sis. Like I had no idea because like I said, I met you as first in the modeling space. I wasn't no model. It was in the modeling space, and then
Tyson.
only somebody I can know me can say that. Anyways, I'm trying to skip over that part. And then it was at a show where you were singing, and I'm like, then I'm looking up, and like you sent me some of the more recent records, and I'm like, yo, this lyricist, we should have been did something, but obviously it's just a lot of things happen, especially too because the world don't revolve around me. You are over here cooking 10 mixtape 17, like, so I had two questions about your grind before you inked your deal with the Gold Chain Music, but what was the
Mhm.
goal in putting all of that music out, and what do you think kind of drove you to go as hard as you did with the releases, because that's not a common place that you see. Like there's so many check boxes that you're knocking off. You know what I mean? I don't
Thank
I don't want to
you.
keep saying it as a female rap. I feel like that's not fair to you because you're a rapper. First and foremost, you're a
Mhm.
rapper, you're a lyricist, you're an artist, I should say, creative
Thank
on
you.
top of that. What drove you, and then what was sort of the plan? Because a lot of people in this audience I've seen have questions about how do I know when my music is ready? I try to
Mhm.
engineer, I'm not that good. Like, how can I? All of these different questions about dropping their music, and meanwhile, you over here dropping the music.
Well, the first thing is you can't get good unless you suck first. I hate to say that, but most people have an ugly phase. Your mixes suck, your bars suck, your artwork sucks,
Mm-hmm.
something sucks, okay? Because you're not who you are yet. You have to work to get that way. So when I was dropping a lot, I was just trying to get past the shitty stage
You knew this
into
consciously
a
as you're
great
moving through it.
album.
You knew this as you were working on it.
Yeah, and I also feel like I say shitty stage as in again context. To me, like even my shitty shit, I could be proud of. Like it's just I wouldn't like sell it right now, but like it wasn't that bad because
Mm-hmm.
I was still me. I just had to get to the better me. Um,
Mm.
and also I didn't have nothing. I didn't have a studio. Remember, we just talked about that. There's
Yeah.
not studios on every corner. So I bought a bunch of shit and just like bought some books and started recording myself, and assert myself. The spaces that I felt were safe for me,
Mm-hmm.
I asserted myself. Can I come film you guys? Can I come sit behind the deck? I'll clean the space. Can I come watch the photo shoot? I'll be a runner.
Wow.
Like I'm not ashamed to be the runner all the way on to the Beyonce. Like I worked on a lot of music video sets. I worked on Kendrick Lamar, Chris Brown, Gucci Man. I was not the talent. I was part of the crew because I knew that in order to get skills, I had to be like the little nigga. Like I had to be like the little homie.
You had to be
And
in the
like
room. You had to be, and sometimes the only way to get in the
let me
room is to be the little homie. Like I get it. I get
had to
that.
be the scrub.
It had to be the scrub,
Yes.
not the scrub, not the scrub.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know was a lot of folks don't have that humility no more, sis, to even try that because I know especially a lot of guys will be like, I ain't finna. I think I'm better than this nigga. I ain't
I'm not
finna.
going to run and get the swishers. Like,
I ain't
what
getting
you
no
mean?
swishers.
You about to, or no, we shouldn't say swishers. We should say what, backwoods. Like, nigga, you're
He
sitting
should be getting
behind.
me backwoods. That's what it should be. Like that energy.
Yes, and it's like, dude, you're sitting behind an engineer who went to school for 10 years. You're in this studio. Like, you can learn for going to grab swishers and
Mm-hmm.
bottles and tidying up. Like, or like if my homies feel like, let's say I don't know how to do something but I want to know, I
Mm-hmm.
go buy a camera, for example, because I have a Canon. I'm not the best with it, but this is how I learn. I go to my homies who are photographers. Let me know if you ever want me to assist you on the set and do BTS. Next thing you know, I'm spending 3 hours with this nigga
Wow.
watching everything he's doing, taking notes on my phone.
Right.
Or just I'm building that relationship. Maybe I decide I don't really got time to learn this, but now I done put in some work with these people, so they might look out for me now to where I've solved that problem.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a videographer, but now they're gonna give me a discount because I always just support.
Yeah.
Or I didn't know how to do something, but I needed to learn, so I'm gonna go be an intern. Or people think that is like dick riding and stuff. Our generation has a lot of pride in that way, but things don't change.
Mm-hmm.
Things, as much as they change, they don't. And I've had so many mentors, dude. Like
Yeah.
I'm always the scrub in the room. When I'm around like Mob Deep, Planet Asia, I'm still the scrub.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you get me? We're always the scrub. You're the scrub somewhere.
Yeah. Facts. And I
If
want
you go,
I want to be in rooms so great that I have to question how the hell did I get to these rooms? If I'm not in
like,
those
yo,
rooms, if I'm always the one that's like, damn, it's a pleasure for me to be here for y'all. Like, no, I'm not in the right room. Like, there's circumstances where you're mentoring, and that's obviously applicable to that. But like, damn it, I want to be in rooms where
hmm
this nigga may be a better lyricist. This producer over here, like yesterday, the homie Yo Gosh popped through. Shout out to homie Yo Gosh. And I
oh
know
gosh,
him as a superior producer than I am, and he's younger than I am. But I'm like, bro, I know where you shine. Go there. I just need
yes.
to figure out how I can complement that and not make it about creative ego and make it
Oh yes,
about getting to the best product possible. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, we all are gifted. That's another way to stop comparing yourself. If you focus on yourself, you're gonna get so dope at whatever your gift is. You're gonna be so, I don't want to say cocky, but
Mm-hmm.
shit, like I don't mind a cocky person who put 10,000 hours in and gets wins.
Yeah,
That's why
facts.
I could deal with artists. I can be the little fish because and deal with like somebody with a big personality.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to be the Beyonce in every room. That's actually stressful. I want to be the coffee runner sometimes. I
Mm-hmm.
want to be the editor sometimes. I want to be just the homie on deck who just gives good vibes on my friend's music video set that I'm not even a part of.
Right.
My homies might call me just because of my vibe, and they know I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like, hey, like that's just kind of weak, or like, oh, you should do this. That's how you become a creative
You
director. I'm
need
sure you know
those.
that because you do
Yeah.
a lot of different shit. You might be in the YouTube studio one day, and then you at a Universal session or something like, and you
Mm-hmm.
you wear all those hats. Like at the Curtis studio, you're the big man, but then when you go to the Kendrick Lamar session, you probably don't talk or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you're in
yeah. I get
Quincy
what you're saying.
Jones,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like you're at the Quincy Jones session. Are you gonna say a damn thing about a snare?
Yeah, I'm
Or
there. I'm there to absorb, but also recognize, like you said, when you're in somebody else's environment and it's their rules, like you have to you don't have to do nothing, but you should consider, I should
hmm
say, that there's a certain code of conduct if you want to be invited back into that room. It doesn't mean that you're any less of who you are, but
No.
but it also means that it's not all about you.
Yeah, and sometimes like it's not like you can't learn if you're talking all the time. You
Facts.
might let's say you're better. For example, you know more about YouTube than I do, right? But I
Hmm.
invite you to my studio and you happen to see some little chord I have. You're
Hmm.
like, "Where'd you get that chord?" I'm like, "Oh, let me show you." So, yeah, you know more about me and all that shit, but I have something you don't know about. You didn't know about this
Yeah.
little doohickey. You didn't know about this app. But
Hmm.
imagine if you walked in there and was like, "Oh, she don't know nothing. Like, she only got 1,000 subs." Like,
That's
but I
corny.
still
Yeah.
might have one thing you don't have.
That part.
Like I might have that one thing that would ease your workspace,
Hmm.
or like I might show you an app and you're like, "Oh my God, girl! Like this changed my life." Like,
Yeah.
and meanwhile, you're still better than me in that area, but we iron sharpens iron. And a lot of people don't do music for love; they do it for ego. So they have to be the Beyonce. Nigga, I'll sit in
Mm.
the session and not say a motherfucking word. I'm not.
I feel that.
I don't care.
Yeah, yeah. I
I'm not fighting over the aux. Like when we be in these big studios and they be like, everybody play one song. You got these rappers like fighting over the aux and shit, trying to play 4 songs. Like
stop.
I just be sitting
Stop.
there. I
And
be
they
like, y'all are.
go ahead.
Oh, just like y'all are making an ass out of yourself because you're so huffed and puffed up. Like
Hmm.
just calm down. Like you gonna be seen if you put 10,000 hours in. I swear to God.
And it makes you
Like.
it makes you believe too. A lot of folks who are in the room secretly don't feel like they deserve to be in the room, and their actions
Mhm.
reflect it, right? So that they get in there and they start saying certain things in a certain way where it's like you're talking like somebody on a suicide mission in this session, and not somebody who's like, I'm supposed to be in this room. I'll be back,
Ooh.
right? I'll
Hey,
be,
act like you've been there, right?
act like you've been there, and I think like there's right, like okay, I feel two ways about this, and I want to get your opinion just on this phrase, act like you've been here. I get the
Mhm.
idea of you're in a place where you want to act like you have the confidence of being in the environment, but you still actually have to go through it at some level to know what it's like to be there, right? Because some people try to act too cool and then they mess up an
Yeah.
opportunity where it's actually somebody that's cool who was like, yeah, I didn't invite them back because they didn't give me any kind of response. They were too busy being cool or whatever. So, no, I get
A
both
good
sides of it.
balance of like
Yeah.
talking enough and not talking too much. And
Yeah.
every room's different. And but also this is where the hierarchy comes in. If I pull up to a Curtis King studio, I know you and we have rapport built. So like that's different, right? Than like if I didn't know you. I'm ultimately always if I don't know somebody, I take my time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's the
Oh, we losing you. We losing you. You on the move. We losing you.
like
Uh-oh. You there? You there?
can you hear me?
Yeah, they don't want you
Can
dropping
you
these
hear me?
bars. They don't want you dropping them bars. And now, the internet don't want that.
Can you hear
I
me
can hear
okay?
you now. I can hear you now. But yeah, not you make a lot of valid points in that um there's a level of confidence that you can't emit even if you're not matched up there, but there's also a level that's going to happen the third and fourth time that you're actually in the room, but never lose sight that no matter what level you're at, and I still operate that way now, sis, like I don't care how much
Mhm.
I've accomplished. I walk in a room and somebody else, like unless it's necessary. I read a book one time that said toot your own horn, right? It was talking about like the idea of knowing when it's appropriate to talk about your accolades because you also don't want to talk down what you've done because then
Yeah.
how would it look like? I remember I was reading a story about you and that when you were reaching out as an independent artist to a Planet Asia, if you weren't able to talk about your catalog, if you weren't able to talk about the things that you did, would that confidence exist? And I'm talking about for any artist
Mhm.
to reach out and see like, hey, is this a possibility for us to do some work with one another? Like you need some proof of
Right.
concept for sure.
You definitely have to be realistic about your talents
Yeah.
and where you are on your 10,000 hours. For example, when I first started doing features, I didn't charge nobody. Why? Because I didn't know how this shit worked. Next
Mm,
thing you know, I would charge $50. Next thing you know, I would charge 200 or something. Do you see how I was realistic? Like,
Yeah.
same thing with Planet Asia. I don't ask people for stuff for free. I ask PA how much for verse.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal. And
So,
for those who don't understand, like the impact is, we know it out here on the coast of a Planet Asia. Could you explain that?
mhm,
Because I know that there's somebody who's obviously providing a lot of assistance and just mentorship in general, being an OG in this
mhm.
game.
Yeah, well, he's a legend. He has songs with every member of Wu-Tang pretty much. Like, he's like he's legendary. So if you guys look him up, he has probably 1,000 million albums. He's been signed to Def Jam, I think it was. Um, but
Mhm.
most importantly, he's something that on the West Coast that I feel is missing is like conscious rappers, right?
Yeah.
It's hard.
Nah, don't you do that, Zoom. Don't you do that, Zoom. Let her go and reconnect. Let her go and reconnect, Zoom. Don't you do that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, this how you know we in
Okay.
2023. You are on the move in the during the interview. This is fire. This, I don't care nobody say. This can only happen in this year right now. This can only happen right now. Where you like just casually, just casually, just walking up, just right now. Well, no, I'm gonna let you. Let me let you get situated real quick, and I'm gonna go ahead and respond back to a little bit to the chat. As you're doing
Can you
that,
guys
you
hear me?
good? We can hear you. Yeah, you good now. You good now. You good?
Oh, well, I made.
Oh, you good?
Yeah, I
Okay,
made it. I
okay,
just gotta
okay.
plug my phone in.
All right, just want to make sure you good. I look. These folks know I can talk, so if if there's ever a need of me of somebody talking, I got that. That's fire.
Oh, let me just plug my little charger in and
Okay
let's
then.
continue.
Okay,
But
like
yeah,
nothing happened. So Planet Asia, the
oh yeah.
legend. I mean, it's this is a name that since I started making music, I just knew the weight of. Is somebody who's done some phenomenal things. And for those that don't know, he has a label that it was started with Dirty Diggs called Gold Chain
Mhm.
Music, founded by those two. And so I was asking about the feature when you was,
Mhm.
you was doing your Carmen San Diego thing, and we was trying to figure out where in the world you was. You feel me? Because Zoom was hating on you, but did you reaching out for the feature opportunity kind of build that relationship, or was it something where he already kind of had a lens on what you were doing?
We had already followed each other
Mm-hmm.
on social media for a while, and then I just slowly started listening to more of his catalog, and I was just like, man, like he's one of the greatest.
No,
I want
facts.
to work with that guy. Um, and then I found out he was from Cali and not Harlem, and I was even more like, what? Oh yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
I DM'd him and I said, how much for a feature? And he was like, send me your music. So I sent it. And then he was like, oh, pull up to me in Mussolini's music video shoot.
Mm-hmm.
It was in Orange County. So my friend and I went and we just got to like meet in person, vibe. That's how I met him and Mussolini that same day. So,
Okay.
um, and then it was like, he was like, okay, you know what? You're cool. Like, I like your energy. You seem like you have a good songs. Like, let me just like, I'll do the feature for free. And I was like, what? So
Like,
this was as I was leaving the
oh wow.
video shoot. So he walked us to the car. And then, as we're saying our goodbyes, he said that. He's like, man, you're dope. Like, I could tell you about your shit. Like, don't even trip. I'll give you a verse.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what? I said, okay, well, I'll get it mixed and mastered and pay it for a video.
Wow. So
And he was like, okay.
let me budge in real quick. I want to get some
Mhm.
POV that folks don't normally ask, but I'm always like interested in how the artist feels before they reach out and how they feel like when they're on the set of it. Like, not saying that you were starstruck or nothing like that, but I'm always curious as to that pre-conversation that you have with yourself. Like, am I crazy for reaching out? Am I at the right place? What do I need to show? Have I shown enough? These are things that I still
Yeah.
think about when I'm reaching out to certain folks, but it's like I almost have to set myself up for rejection. If folks know the
Oh yeah.
amount of people that I've reached out to within my network that either had no response at all or said no, they'd probably be
Mhm.
surprised, but it's like, dog, you gotta go through that if you want to be great. So I asked this to you before reaching out. Was there those pre nerves and then even being invited to the shoot? I want to know also. No disrespect to him, but you talked earlier about how guys can be in this industry. Was there nervousness about like pull up? Like what is this? What is this about for real? For real?
Oh, those are great questions. No one's actually ever asked me that. So let me say this. If you are afraid of rejection, you need to go be a fucking like something that's not rejected all the time. Like you need to be like an electrician or something where because you're gonna be told no damn near every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, I had to build my confidence up, which again, let's go back to the 10,000 hours. But even with that, yes, you're always nervous. Like you're always nervous. I think even when Drake and Future did a collab tape, they were probably nervous. Like
That's crazy.
everybody's nervous because artists are strange.
Yeah,
First of
very.
all, even if you're on someone's level, they are an artist. They might have this weird thing about them or
Mm-hmm.
and you just don't know them. Like just any other inquiry. It's an inquiry that can be rejected.
Mm-hmm.
But like for me, I'm not afraid of rejection. Like I'll be like, all right, for sure. I'm gonna email this nigga 6 months from now
Right.
and put it on my calendar. And
I love it.
like,
I love it. It's
how
that.
about this? I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell y'all the last person that kind of rejected in a way. Like,
Hmm.
so there's this rapper. His name his name is Brownsville Ka or
Mm-hmm.
just Ka, Ka,
Mm-hmm.
just like YaH-Ra but with Ka.
Okay.
I emailed him. This was around the same time I reached out to Asia. The difference is that me and Ka did not follow each other. I was
Okay.
just reaching out. Like Asia actually followed me. That was the first, kind of foot in the door, low key, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
With Ka, it was a blind inquiry. I found his email on some sneak shit, like on this old west. Cause remember I told you, like I'm a rabbit hole person. I go
Right.
through the credits. I'm looking
Right.
up names. I'm looking up everything. I got a bookshelf right here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me show you.
He was
Because
like,
I'm really like, so with Brown,
oh wow, oh yeah, you not play. You was like, so what do we have here at Gmail, huh? Okay, I wonder,
yeah.
I
So I
wonder what
found
this will
Brown.
give me.
Yeah. Y'all want me to give you another? I'm not gonna do it. I won't do it.
You
But
good, you good. Like,
nah, I
look,
won't do
look,
it.
and look at you. You was asking me like, let's not go too personal with the question. I'm like, look at you over here disclosing. That to me is a sign that you feel comfortable in the interview, and that is my job as media, as
Yeah.
your peer in this independent space. Like, sis, I appreciate you so much. We're not ending. I'm just want to let you know in this moment how much I appreciate you
Hmm.
because I was talking the homegirl Coco and Nat the Lioness at the what is it, the Happiness of Pursuit festival,
Hmm.
and I'm looking around at like, of course I see all the normal dudes in here or whatever, like the folks I already know. I'm looking at the women in this environment and I'm like, y'all are fucking superheroes in this environment, and I don't know if y'all always recognize it, in that the energy that y'all have up there, the ability that you have to quiet a crowd and their expectations, right, or their predictions of
Hmm.
what they see, and you guys already have to fight an uphill battle. Like when I see you do great things, you said it earlier. You said, "Dog, when I win though, when I fucking
We really
win, we
win.
really win out here, and there's no taking it away.
Hmm.
There's no kind of shade. Like it's none of that." And so, hats off, and
Yeah.
I salute you because I it doesn't surprise me. Like the rejection, that's just gonna happen. But seeing how cool
Yeah.
Planet Asia was, just to me, is encouraging because I've met a lot of my rap heroes. I wasn't happy about meeting a lot of my rap heroes, and because they showed me how human they were. So
Yes.
yeah. So
Yes.
that's dope to hear
So
that
the
worked like
thing
that.
the thing about PA is he's worked with many women before, so like that. So ladies, just that's a tip too. Like you gotta use you can't live in fantasy land. If a dude is coming across aggressive, sexual, or OD, like he is who he is. Like
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, you might not get to work with him. The thing about PA was like, I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel like he was bringing me into like the strip club or something. Like he
Right.
just was having a video, like,
Right.
or like
It's in
there was
public. This
gonna
this
be
feels safe. This feels safe. Good, good, good.
yes,
Right, right.
and I brought a friend.
Which is
There's
important.
other people there. Like
Mhm.
PA's music isn't womanizing music. Now I'm not saying that again. These are indicators, but I'm just saying all these things are how I might judge it, whether I'll meet up with somebody or
Yeah,
not. And also their pedigree, right? Like he don't have no record assaulting women or something. Like, I
yeah.
mean, certain shit is common sense. The same way if you were gonna date a guy or meet up to off someone off Craigslist or something, like you got to kind of
Mhm.
feel what's going on. But PA's pedigree and his reputation speaks for itself, and his energy. He wanted to meet me to
Yeah.
check me out. So right. So
Make sure you
I
you got your
so
head screwed on right. Let me make sure. Yeah.
and a smart man doesn't care if you're a pretty girl. He's protecting what he has too,
That's
which is
facts.
another great indicator, right? This guy's not trying to get get set up or something, because women,
Mhm.
trust me, women, anything a man can do that's evil, a woman can do. So
Yeah, yeah.
I liked how he carried himself. I like how he didn't invite me somewhere private. I liked how he actually listened to my music.
Mhm.
You know, he when he responded, he told me oh, I like this about this song. Why don't you come here? And then slowly our relationship and bond slowly organic. It wasn't like he tried to force me to rap with him or vice versa. And he really respected the fact that the moment he gave me a free verse, I said, okay, I'm still going to invest in the song. I'll get it recorded,
Mhm.
mixed, mastered, and pay for video. Then what made me like him more was I was like, you want to shoot the video in San Bernardino? And I thought he was going to say no. And he didn't. Everyone says no.
Yeah. Well, you say he
And
did?
then, yeah,
Oh.
he came to the
Oh,
Dino.
you no,
He
I thought you
came
said
to the
he did. I
Dino.
thought you said he did say no. No, he came to the Dino for the video. Shout out to
Oh,
Planet Asia for that one.
yeah, I said he did it.
Oh,
My
he
bad.
didn't.
That sounded
Oh,
like
I thought
did
you said he
not.
did. Okay, never take that back. Okay, all right.
No,
Rock
no,
it back.
no.
Rock it back.
No. We're not hearing each other. He did it.
He
He
did it.
did it.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yes.
Let me shut up. I thought you said he
Mm-hmm.
he did it. I got all excited. I was like, that's super dope. And then I thought you said he did it. But okay, so he did do that.
He,
Salute to Planet Asia for that. It's probably another reason why
uh-huh.
he was like, let me make sure. You said you were from where now? San Bernardino. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's meet in a public place. Let me make sure what's going on. But
All right.
nah,
And
so
he's from Fresno,
he's from
so
Fresno. Yeah.
they're a little bit hood there.
Yeah. So okay. So with that said, you get the feature. You would make the investment. The song does well, right? It does really well. I remember around that
Hmm.
time when you had released it. I know I can see the excitement through your campaign, through the way that you promote something, right? Even with the
Hmm.
salute to you. I need to get my applause ready on here. Salute to you for the way you promoted this interview first and foremost, because I've had many
Oh,
guests, and this is no shot to any of them, but the things that you volunteered in terms of like, hey, I'm gonna do a pre-story for my reel, and then after the reel, I'm gonna do a day of. I'm like, oh no, you doing media, like you know what you doing. So everybody's not built
yeah.
like that, and I want to make that sort of the last part of this conversation. But before that, I'm really interested in knowing. So, because a lot of people will get a feature like that, and it's a big deal to where they're at that point in their career. They'll follow through. The song goes, and then everybody understands the same thing we all understand. That song comes, that song goes, you promote it, then you have to go to the next thing. I'm interested in what was it do you think that Planet Asia saw what you were doing, right? That made him
Hmm.
say, we need to actually talk more business, that eventually became the distribution deal that you signed with Gold Chain Music.
Well, one thing's for sure is that he appreciated that even though he gave me a free feature, I continued to put money and believe in and my time. If somebody give me something free, I match that above and
Mm,
beyond. And I have that habit. So you just gave an example. You're like, "Oh, come on my podcast." I'm like, "Okay, let me make sure I promote the fuck out that shit because
yeah.
he's giving me an opportunity." So like I wouldn't say I milk every opportunity in a negative way, but like I'm gonna go. if you give me three, I'm gonna make six or
That
something.
part.
Like that's I try to take advantage of people who have more than me in that way so they respect me too, to bring something more. Like if Curtis says I'm gonna give you a free beat, I'm gonna say, all right, bro, I'm gonna make a video first then. Or
Hmm.
I'll pay for Instagram ad because you just gave me something of value and you're higher up than me, so I want to impress you, right? Like, period. So the other guy who I wrote, I'll tell y'all how that one went real quick while we end this topic up.
Okay.
So, because I never got to finish that story.
Yeah.
So, because I want them to know, like, I get rejected. Like, people think, y'all, she's sitting here smiling. Nigga, no, I get told no every day. Every day. I could
Mm,
show you emails of me submitting myself to things and I don't hear shit. Or they
yeah.
be like, nope. But I don't do it for people. I do it for my mission. I could hear
Hmm.
1,000 no's and get one yes, and I'm happy because I know the odds. The more shots you put up, the more you're gonna make.
That part. Shoot or
So
shoot.
I don't.
Shoot or shoot.
Yeah. So Brownsville Ka. Now, to make this clear, I still love his music. This
Hmm.
is not like a bad story because I just don't care. Again, I don't care if someone tells me no. I still like him. Like
Yeah.
it's okay. So I emailed him and I just told him like how much his like rhyming made me want to write again and just stay consistent. He actually responded. Keep in mind, I found his email on some like
You
internet
wasn't even supposed to be in there.
research.
You wasn't even supposed to be in there first of
No,
all. So, so
no,
whatever you got was icing on the cake at that point. I didn't do that. I did that before, where it's like,
no.
I was on Twitter and I
Beyonce
saw you
at
was looking for beats.
Beyonce.com.
No, I didn't mean on Twitter searching. They was like, I was on Twitter and I saw you was looking for beats. They was like, nigga, who are you? I'm Curtis King.
It was from 2017.
Oh, you found an email. He don't even promote no more. Oh, you really was on your content game. Okay, salute.
No, no, I'm being dramatic, but it was definitely from some old website.
Okay.
Nobody, again, I'm weird, I'm a nerd, so like I really love music. I go
Hmm.
through rabbit holes, dude, like of music. So anyway, I emailed him, I complimented him and just like told him he was dope. He responds, of course, being gracious, and I said, so how much for a feature? And that was when the combo stopped. So I say
Oh,
that to
not the
say,
yeah.
yeah, that was when he never responded. Cool, I got ice, put on ice, great. But also, I'm not weird. Like, if somebody tells me no, I don't get mad and I don't
Hmm.
keep going. Like,
Hmm.
some of you niggas, stop it. Because
Oh my gosh.
you're getting emotional or you're not accepting that you got some more work to do before
Hmm.
maybe someone recognize you. Like, man, what? I send people stuff all the time on Instagram and get left on scene. I don't give a fuck, but I'm
Yeah.
not going to keep bothering them.
Yeah. What
Like if it's okay to get left on red. It's okay for someone not to reply. Like
that part?
that's part of this.
Hmm. And then also too,
Hmm.
even succeed in all the things. I add this. I made a post earlier today that was inspired by my live stream last night, and that we want sometimes the blessing of like the most viral music video, the most viral streaming song, whatever the case may be, where we have all these fans, right? We want sold out shows. And my question to them, but more so a question to myself, is when you receive that, what actually changes? Right now,
Mm.
when we start to paint that picture, we're like, "What you mean? What changes? I have more money, more opportunities, da-da-da-da." But it's like, no, you're not hearing me. What changes about your grind? Because if you only intensify your grind when money comes, you don't have a grind, right? If you only say, "Well, I'm going to find the motivation," if you only you're not motivated. So I look at those situations and I'm like, regardless of who said no or whatever the case may be, you are who you are, sis, because of that tenacious energy that's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, this is who I am in
I
any
don't
environment.
care.
Like, I know who you are, and salute, respect. I will give you, your flowers, but whether I receive this or not is not going to stop the studio session I have later on this night, right? That's not going to stop me. That's not going to make me sit in the
Mm-mm.
middle of a verse and say, oh, I guess I should just quit because he didn't say anything to me. And it's like a lot of dudes out here who boast and poke their chest out really operate that way. They just don't want to express that. And instead it comes out in expose pieces on TikTok. Instead it comes out in ways that I'm like, dog, why would anybody ever want to work with you?
Yeah, oh, I asked Curtis King for a beat and he rejected me. Now it's fuck that nigga on Twitter. Like,
And it goes viral. And then it go viral.
Yeah,
then it's like,
you can't
I'm
be
for
that
sure
way.
I ain't doing no business with you. Look what happens when you get mad.
Yes, because something else that need to remember is the doper you get, people gonna come to you. So that's also why I don't give a shit. Like, I can take man, I swear to God, I wish I had like a little chart to show you how much I get rejected. Like some people be like, "Oh, she's pretty." Nigga, that shit makes me a target sometimes. So y'all don't
in what ways would you say?
Beauty makes you a target. It makes you a target for men to think that that's your value.
Yeah, because I don't got them kind of problems. So you have to explain it. You got to explain it to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, women should know that too. Like, as much as we're praised for beauty, it does make you a target for other women to hate on you for no reason, or men to sexualize you before you even. How about this? People like you more or less before you even speak.
You don't even get a
That's
chance.
strange
You don't even get a fair shot.
No, like this, they gonna like me more because of how I look, or they gonna like me less. They're gonna be like, oh, like whatever preconceived things, like. So like, I don't rely on that. Like, that's another thing. I don't like. I'm known for my bars. I'm not known for who I've slept with or who or my body even. Like, again, I'm not a prude. Like, I believe women, we should be able to be young and beautiful. But I'm not known for that. You understand me? Pete Rock isn't talking to me for my body. He's saying, "Damn, look at these bars." And I feel like in this generation, we can get caught up on image, and it's hard because we care about our image, right?
Facts.
But the 10,000 hours matters more than marketing and image. I promise you. Like, my looks or whatever other things have never gotten me farther than my gift of what I bring to the table, and nobody can say that because the history, you can look it up. Like, you can look up my shows, my flyers. I've done over 1,000 shows probably. So like and I think with other people, y'all have to have confidence in the 10,000 hours more than your Instagram followers, more than who you're dating, more than the internet, which is full of padded stats. To me.
Yes. Why you gotta?
So
why
you might not.
All the languages you could have chose today. All the languages you could have chose today. Chose truth. That's just how you feeling today. You took us for a walk today, and you came home and said, "You know what? I think it's time for them to get some truth." This is why I had to invite you on, because that focus to me is what we have the ability to do as independents. When you're in an environment where everybody that you surround by you has been the product of your decisions, right? In any situation, it can be that. But when you're signed to someone, they can bring anybody into the room that they think is valuable for their investment, and you have to deal with it. And because you're under contract, you can't just leave the situation. As independents, we have a choice to do our homework, do our research, work with someone, have an experience, and then make decisions based upon that of how to move accordingly. But when I see the way that you piece together your music, the way that you piece together the campaigns for the things that you're promoting, like, I'll be honest, even as somebody who's been in this game for a long time, and I know so much about marketing, I learned so much from you in terms of how to promote a song multiple times once it's out, because that's something, I'll be honest with you, speaking just for me, I'm not even gonna speak for artists and producers, for myself, I be so over shit when it's heavily promoted to me. Like, at some point, when it gets too promoted, it feels, and I should preface by saying, when it gets promoted the same way over and over, if you keep putting screenshots up of that damn SoundCloud one more time, it remind me of them dudes in the mall that be like, my mans. Hey, you and the Jordans. Like, it reminds me of that kind of marketing. But you find a way to do it in such a classy way, in a way that doesn't feel intrusive, and you'll be promoting a project. I saw how hard you promoted your debut in Californication, and it was like every time I saw you pop up on the timeline, it was a different look. Where do you think that skill set comes from, and what is your mindset when you're promoting a song, and like how do you break it down for those who struggle with that like myself?
Well, for promo, I think I listen to my fans. I try stuff and then I listen to my fans. Um, like, and I look at what works and I keep doing that. Like,
Mhm.
I that might sound simple, but it's not. Like, for example, like, I mean, it might sound hard, but it's simple. Like, for example, on Twitter, I'm not gonna write the same tweet. I'm gonna like use retweet because people are fickle. We could have the same tweet, right? But if that tweet already has 20 hearts on it and you just simply retweet that, people are gonna heart it more because it already has 20 hearts.
Mm.
Even if you write the same tweet, right? Like, so I try to recycle what's already in the mix based off this new algorithm that's going on in our social medias right now. You have a post on your reel from a year ago that is still in circulation.
Mhm.
To you, it's old. The other thing is, nobody's on Twitter all at the same time. So, yeah, you got your tweet off, but do you think everybody saw it?
Mhm.
Like, let's just, again, remove the emotions and like the high school shit. You're not here to be in high school. You're here to make fans and friends and get bookings.
Mm.
So fuck whoever don't want to see your retweet. That's why they follow you. If they don't want to see it and they unfollow, that's why it's good to sometimes have a family Instagram and an artist Instagram, right? Because
Mhm.
you got to think business. Like, so if I have a tweet that did 10 likes, I'm a favorite it, and then later in that week, I'm a retweet it
See.
because now instead of, and then I don't gotta type it all again. I'm just retweeting the highest, promote the shit my fans like the most.
Mhm.
They already liked it.
What does that look like on Instagram though? Because you know Instagram is a little bit more sensitive to the repetition and even like the way that they display
Mm-hmm.
your content. Sometimes it'll be specifically like a reel, right? Where you put up a reel and it's out of chronological order. People are getting it at
Yes.
all times of the year. Where it's like
Months later.
months like I didn't have friends going through some real shit, and I feel like I shouldn't say like close friends, but friends of mine going through some real shit, and I'm like, yo, thoughts and prayers with you. And they're like, fam, I healed from that 2 months ago. And I'm like, I'm sorry for not being a better friend, but Instagram dumbass and sent me this reel that you put up in December, and now I'm just finding out that you know what I'm saying? So like, how do you, how do you kind of like maneuver with that philosophy with Instagram content? And do you even care?
Oh,
Like, do you even care what that looks
all
like?
right.
Because like your project has been out for some time. Is there those
No.
emotions where you're like, and I know you said not emotionally involved, but like they get the
So
point.
like I get tired. I get just like you, I engineer my shit, right? So
Hmm.
yes, I've heard the song 10,000 times before it even got uploaded for someone to hear
Right.
10,000 times, right? But this is where I take off my artist hat and put on my label hat because
Mm.
if YaH the artist did everything that YaH the artist wanted to do, woo y'all wouldn't even be, y'all wouldn't even see me right now. I'll be so mysterious. Like, that's really who I am. I
Yeah,
really wouldn't be on none of this shit. But
I hear that. I hear
it's
that.
free.
Yeah.
It's free and your fans are on it. So get over yourself. Post.
Mm.
Get the fuck over your fucking self. Unless you have an ultra decked out website with 10 niggas running it for you and selling your merch, you gotta use social media. You
That part.
too. Me too.
Yeah.
Unless your name is Beyonce, and even then, that's starting to backfire. Her fans are like, why don't you post when we
Mm.
spend millions on your tickets or
Yeah.
something, you know? So like I say that to say you can't have this ego. Like you can't be Curtis the rapper. You got to be Curtis the label marketer and put
Hmm.
that hat on and get out of the, oh, I'm gonna look stupid or they're gonna get sick of me. They need to be following you for your music.
Yeah.
If they get sick of you, oh well, go follow 10 more people.
well, let me play devil's advocate because you talking truth,
Mm-hmm.
TROOF, truth,
True.
truth, not truth. You know, truth, like you know what I'm saying, like your bottom teeth is going truth like that, all right. But
Yeah.
here's the other side of it, and I say this knowing that there's folks who probably feel this way as well. Um, do you ever feel like it is so fucking overwhelming between
Yes.
the ticks? I mean, I'm not sure if you're on
Yes.
TikTok by the like does there ever get to a point where you're like,
Yes.
I cannot be everything for everybody? Because me specifically, let me speak on me. Like, I went crazy last year on Instagram, and I went crazy not off my music, but off of me. Today, I feel like, doing a motivational speaking thing, and it's like that's cool. It gave me 50,000 new people, which is dope. But damn it, I can't sell not a nan near thing on CurtisKing.com to them, right? Because they haven't even heard my music. So it'll put me in a place where I'm like, yo, like, I need to go, first of all, where they paying, which is YouTube, which was paying well. And also, that's more my tribe is that of producers. But as I start to transition back, one thing that I found focusing on one social media, sometimes we on these other social medias, because they're kind of like name brands. Because folks ask questions like, hey, like, what's your TikTok or what's your Instagram? And it's like, if you say, like, I don't have one, they almost don't take you serious. How do you balance the overwhelming nature of having to produce all that at a high level, and then also, too, like, the human side of you that's like, well, I want this shit to do somewhat well because I put work behind this.
Well, for one, I would say focus on your top three social medias, but claim them all. You want to claim them all because you don't want someone to run off with your name. So, like, even if you don't use TikTok and your fans don't, just claim your TikTok
Yeah.
because like, so first, just do that. Claim them all, make them all. After that, focus on your top three. What that means is your definition. You're an independent artist. Does that mean where I have the most clout for now, or is it where I make the most money, or is it where the most of my fans are, or where I get the
Mm,
most bookings? Have a reason why you have a top three, right? And now it's all about pre-making content and then like so instead of thinking you got to do shit every day, you take 2 days, maybe Sunday and Friday, the week ahead, and you pre-save your tweets. You put on a movie and you just make a bunch of content
that's genius.
and then you store it and you can save drafts too. Like dude, I have like hella tweets in the drafts. Also, a rule of mine that I've kind of been working on. I try to draft the tweet anyway because
Mm-hmm.
lately I gotta watch what I say more. So like it gives me time to think twice too when I have drafts.
Mm,
It gives me time to be like, okay, is this necessary, positive, or gonna make me money, or like am I showcasing my personality like in a fun way or am I being negative? And like I try to make 80% positive to 85. These are various little rules I have to keep myself on track
right.
and to make sure I'm not living on my phone or comparing myself. I make all my content like I said, I put a movie on and like reels are easy. That's 10 seconds. And
Really?
then you can
Yeah.
post that on YouTube and Twitter now.
Yeah. Because
So
once
like
it's vertical,
now
it's native to a lot of platforms at that point.
yeah, so you can't overthink it. You gotta recycle what the posts that already did numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Like every month, if you look at your top three things, go repost them again. As
Mm-hmm.
far as the story, I'm gonna really give y'all some game right now because like I fuck with Curtis like hella. So because I learned from
Likewise.
Curtis. So I'm gonna give y'all tips that have nothing to do with money and ways to grow your Instagram or content reposting. How about that? You ready? This
Yeah.
this is how you're gonna grow your Instagram without posting and without paying. The first thing, whenever you want to post, before you post, go comment, go leave like 25 comments. Go just whoever. I don't care who it is. Before you post your shit, go comment some other people's pages. 20 to 30 people. I don't care if it's a heart emoji or something. Then post your shit. That's gonna make your attraction. Anytime if you
That's a
don't feel like
bar.
posting or you want to be mysterious, okay, you still need to have a post a week or something, right? Still keep it going, but you better be still commenting other shit. That's
Mm-hmm.
gonna get people to click on your comment and bring them to your page. You didn't even post nothing, and you're
Mm.
still in the algorithm. The other thing is follow hashtags. I'm gonna say that again.
Okay.
If you if you are an Arkansas rapper, type hashtag Arkansas hip hop follow. You need to follow 30 to 50 hashtags that have to do with you or your fans.
Gems.
Curtis Curtis makes beats, but guess what? He like has this like internet presence. So maybe he follows hashtag YouTuber,
Mm-hmm.
hashtag Serato, hashtag beat maker,
Mm-hmm.
hashtag trap beats. It doesn't matter if he makes all those things. That's where his fans are culminating.
Facts.
So
Facts.
I follow West Coast hip hop, boom bap, beat makers of IG,
Mm-hmm.
because I know my fans like the back of my hand. I know what they like.
Mm-hmm.
I make a lot of fans based off my life interests, right? I like sneakers. So I follow all these sneaker pages and I find fans through my community. So I've performed for the LA Air Max heads, right?
I
Because
know that was a
I
that was a
follow
gold
them.
mine for you because it's like soon
Yeah.
as because you one of them folks, sis, that when they see you and they see you in your element and they see you in your greatness and your black excellence, shit is fucking undeniable. You gonna walk they're
Hmm.
gonna walk away with some fans. Like I feel like
And but
I gotta damn near put a show on before they even give me a chance. They're like, what this light skinned nigga like, what you owe I need a sleep I need a nap ass Drake gonna do. What you finna do with them bags under your eyes? I get it. That's why I have to be like I was the baby Sinbad for a second. I was all these different things to kind of like break that
Mhm.
ice, but with you, there's a lot of things that yeah, in certain environments, you talked about it earlier, it can be a disadvantage or a target it can put on your back. But in a lot of these situations, I'm like, they give you, I've seen it in real time where it's like, I wonder what this is going to be. And then when you perform, it's undeniable.
I appreciate that so much. I mean, we all have gifts though, man. Like we all have gifts. We all have community. We all have that thing. Like, and I just want everybody to remember that. Like, yeah, I'm special, but I think you're special. I wish I could do like I just was telling him this, like all his like web shit he be doing, how we on Zoom, but we going through YouTube, like, nigga, how? Like
That,
that's
that ain't
something
nothing
that
but a
would benefit,
Zoom. Yeah.
right?
Ain't nothing
You
but a
know, but
comment. You
I'm
know, we out like anybody independent got to ally with me, especially if, first of all, I love the fact that we get to say, fuck what your following is. Like respect to the work you've done. If you're not a good person, don't fucking talk to me. Like
mm,
don't even like if you don't start there. If I'm asking
mm-hmm.
Yara like, yo, how are you? I'm not asking how was your last album process. I'm asking how the human being is. The same way I do with Noah. I just talked to
Yeah.
Noah today, and I'm like, if I ask these questions, it's because now we get to operate on a place where in the industry what I noticed was that it was I'll show you enough empathy or appearance of empathy because of what you can do for me. But the moment I feel like you can't do anything for me, that energy morphs. But
That's the worst
yeah,
vibe to have to be a long-term successful. If you're someone who wants short-term success, then there's different tactics. We can't speak on that though. But
mm-hmm.
as far as long-term community building, you have to respect your craft, respect yourself, respect your fans, and respect your peers. You're not going to get along with everybody, but at the same time, if you know yourself, you're going to know when you're out of pocket or
Mm-hmm.
someone's out of pocket or it's just not y'all weren't meant
It
to
wasn't meant to
work or
be.
something.
Yeah, it just didn't
Yeah,
mesh.
you'll have discernment. But yeah, I feel like the world is placing emphasis on looks right now.
Mm-hmm.
Looks don't last. And there's a lot of beautiful women who can't sell a record or get booked or perform, so like
Hello.
I
Yeah.
do I use what I have, but at the same time I'm using systematic things that I research. Like when I'm
Uh,
telling y'all, go. This is the thing. We're in America. A fucking baby can make $1 million playing video games on YouTube. So the more you try to trick yourself and be like, I'm not twerking, I can't get
mm-hmm.
views, I can't do that. She's pretty. That's why she's there. That's not true. Like we all have figured out different ways to beat the matrix and done the work and the research
Mm-hmm.
and like made the albums. Curtis has hella albums. This man has probably made 20 million beats by now. Like, come on. So like you can never look at someone and be like, oh, they're just this. Don't worry about how they're getting there. Worry about
Right.
how you're gonna beat the matrix and what you're gonna where are your fans?
That part.
How can you find your fans faster? And the
Mm-hmm.
way you do is by being yourself. I naturally like sneakers. So if I go to the sneaker chat rooms and shit, they probably gonna fuck with me because
Yeah.
life is a Venn diagram. It's beats, but
Mm.
guess what? He's a techie too. So he probably has people on the tech world who probably love his music. He wouldn't have never found them if
Had it
he
not.
stayed in as a rapper. He had to embrace the tech homies. Or
Yeah.
like you get what I'm saying? Like
No,
we're a bunch of Venn diagrams.
you are the second person that I've ever heard describe the necessity of mingling amongst different tribes. You know who the first person was? Seth,
Hmm.
Seth fucking Godin, the marketing genius, right? I mean, if you know Seth Godin, you know Purple Cow and just all the amazing books that he has. But he has another one called Tribes We Need You to Lead Us, and one thing he talks about is the necessity. This is not an option anymore. To find
No.
other tribes and other groups that already exist. So if you're somebody who has a lot of tattoos, without even knowing it, you're a
Yes.
part of the tattoo community. If
Yes.
you
Go
skateboard
follow
on the,
them.
go follow them. They're already
Yes.
they're already doing the thing that you hope one day circulates around your art, which is congregate. They know each other.
Yes.
They spread the things that they like amongst the community. So like you think
Mhm.
about somebody like a Wiz Khalifa. I remember when he was like first,
Marijuana.
marijuana was a thing, but then you look at how many people, like I remember when I performed at Paid Dues, how many people are around his stage because why? First of all, you were allowed to smoke in that environment.
Mhm.
And it was so many people who smoked. They didn't even have to like the music. They were like, I just love the fact that
No.
he makes weed music. So
Yes.
you have that opportunity now to connect with folks via Discord. You don't even got to meet some of these folks in real
Yes.
life. You got to do it. But I got
Follow
to
the
say,
hashtag.
follow the hashtag because it's going to
If
expose
you
them
like,
and you. Yeah.
yes, if you have a lowrider and you make rap, go find the lowrider pages. If your name, if you like, if you have a cool name or something, or like if
Mm-hmm.
you're Nigerian, oh my God, let me reiterate this too. Stop following people you know already.
What do you mean specifically
Stop
with
it.
that?
Stop getting into the high school. Oh, let me see what blah blah from 10th grade is doing. No,
Mm-hmm.
you need nigga, I'm a part of Nigerian Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay? I am not Nigerian. But guess what? I'm a part of white Twitter. I'm
Yeah.
a part of Nigerian Twitter. I'm a part of bad bitch Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a part of sneaker Twitter.
Look, hold on,
I'm a
sis.
part of
I, I'm gonna trump all that. I'm gonna trump all that. I'm gonna trump all that.
come
You thought you was
on,
saying something? Let me
do
get. I
it.
got something. I probably got fans today who met me when they thought I was a reggaeton artist.
Come on.
I had a bald head, and he was like, "Damn, he kind of looked like Pitbull." I was like, "Shut up." I was like, "Shut up."
You're a part of Puerto Rican Twitter.
I look, sis. I performed in the City of Industry Nicaraguan Fest, but guess what?
Come
I had
on.
one song that I did with an artist at that time named Jay Smooth. Shout out to Jay Smooth. He was very popular at that time. Matter of fact, that man was so popular in the reggaeton world because he looked like Daddy Yankee. He had a little comb over. He looked like Daddy Yankee. And that man was on that. Remember that show, Yo Mama?
Yes.
He was on that show, and I saw his fan base balloon in front of my eyes. I went from doing a hole in the wall show with him to being at the Nicaraguan Fest, and not near nobody spoke a lick of English around me, and they were like, "Oh, a photo," and I was like, "See."
Sí,
The whole
señor.
night, and I was like, "You never know," because I got folks who remember me from those days who were like, that's the only reason I would even be exposed to your music is because you chose to get in there. So it's some people right now that think I'm Puerto Rican,
Yeah.
Nicaraguan, don't know what I am, but they like, That nigga be making beats though. Like, so I feel what you saying. Like, you gotta
Yeah.
find your tribe, and sometimes it's not gonna be the places you would expect.
No, it's not gonna be the friend that you grew up with. I'm sorry. They're
Hell
gonna
no.
not
Yeah.
like you. They're not gonna support you. They're probably jealous. They probably have resentment. It's not your job or mine to figure that out. What it is to find your new tribes and find your
Mm,
fans. My
yeah.
fans, I could tell you all about them because I look it up once a month. I look at my top 5 countries, states. I ask my fans questions. I let them pick my outfits sometimes. I'll be like, what
Mm,
shoes do you guys want me to
that's
wear tonight?
fire.
And then because we love sneakers,
Yeah.
like, so eventually I want to get that way with gold and jewelry. Like, hey, what, like, I want to be super fly because I like jewelry, but I'm
Hmm.
not there yet. I can't be like, which Rolex? I don't even have one right now
Right.
yet. So, like,
And nowadays, I
but
don't know if you want to put that on the internet because they'd be like, "Oh,
come
you
on.
wearing the bust down rollie tonight? All right, I'll be
Right.
at the show. I'll be at your show tonight." Like, hold on, fam. That's not why I was asking. You're not even supposed to be in the poll right now. Like, what are we doing? I be so look, sis, I
Right.
be so nervous out here now because I'm like, it is a real thing where it's like, not everybody that's watching is your fan. Not everybody that follow is a follower. Not
Ooh.
everybody that's a subscriber subscribes to your ideologies and the things you're talking about. Some people are so driven. I remember Boosie said it. Some people are so intoxicated by hate or even jealousy that they
Ooh.
have to be close.
Ooh. And are you prepared for that if you want to be a public figure?
I still
That's
question
that's
that.
a question. Yep, we gotta ask that. So that goes
Yeah.
back just like the rejection thing. You every time somebody tell you no, you start crying, baby. You might want to be a dog groomer where nobody talks to you
Hell no, because then
because
you gonna start reading the emotions of the dogs too. You're gonna be like, I don't think the dog like me. Like this. I'm sorry if you're like that at some point. You can be pushed into she being nice about that, right? She being nice about that. You gonna be pushed in. You said electrician earlier. I didn't say nothing about that. I just let you have that one. But electrician,
uh-huh.
somebody in that electrician, somebody gonna hire you and be like, man, my light switch used to turn on faster. You feel me? Like that's just no, that's just part of
Ooh,
life. And so
that's a
somebody,
fact.
no matter where we get to, we can't get away from that. But I feel like that's the beauty also of no matter what your belief system. I say God, like I feel like that's the beauty that of life and how God does these things where he gonna put you in a situation that's like, oh, you thought you got away from that, so now I got you in a safe space that you thought was safe for you to not grow, and it's still forcing you to grow. Now it's in a relationship where you really care about something. Like you can't get away from it. Is my point of that. So
Rejection is a part of life because you're not everyone's cup of tea, and nobody is perfect,
that part.
and including you or and like even when you play music, you skip shit, you skip hella shit. If you don't like it, like it's okay. Like,
Hmm.
do you do this for other people or what do you do it for? Go back to that and then stick to that. Like whatever your reason is. Like some people do it to get rich. Some people do it like to be popping. Some people do it because it's in them. Like we all
Yeah.
have our reasons. Some people want a way to get out the hood. Like some people want to make their parents proud. They come from a musician family. I mean, we all have our reasons, but realistically, look at the job. You can't be on an NBA team and say, I don't believe in defense. It comes with the job, nigga. You're going to have to. So if you want to be a musician, but you're afraid of social media
Hmm.
or you're afraid of your fans or you don't want to post ever,
Yeah.
bro, well, you better have some crazy marketing plan because in this generation, it comes with the territory. You don't want to perform ever, but you want to be a rapper, or you don't ever want to drop an album. Like,
Yeah.
come on, man. Like some of these things, like you can't avoid. You can't
Hmm.
avoid even doing interviews. I can't avoid as much as I really don't like them. I have to do them because like I had to take off my artist hat and put on my label hat,
Yeah.
and then get over my fucking shit.
But but see once again, and I don't say this as a friend that's just enabling you to continue to be mysterious, knowing damn well we all know how important this is. You just broke down a whole Instagram campaign that people would have paid thousands of dollars to understand in less than
Mm,
30 seconds. So salute to that. But you understand that, but I also understand in talking to you, niggas be weird. Like, and you don't want to be in a rush when it's like, dog, I'm here because just like any other artist that comes in here, I'm an artist and I love my shit. I'm sensitive about my shit to a certain degree. We all have a level of sensitivity to it, but this is mine. Like, I came here because I'm proud of this body of work. I didn't sit here and work on this album cover for you to talk about. So, who you dating, right? Like, that's not. So I get the reservation because it's like you can't trust everybody, especially folks with a platform, because people abuse their platforms.
Oh yeah, and we abuse each other online.
Yeah.
We abuse each other, and cyberbullying is at an all-time high. Okay, like I don't know when that shit became cool, but part of you being a public figure is accepting that this comes with the territory, but also watch the energy you put out, because you could be like, I want to say inviting it. Like, for example, when I choose my mental health over popularity.
Good.
For example, I have my comments turned off. You can't even comment my shit unless you follow me. Now, is that good for my algorithm? I don't know, but I also don't care, because ever since I did that, I have a higher quality of followers. I might not have as many comments, but I have more constructive comments. And if somebody's going to hate on me, at least they have to follow first. So thank you.
You had to make that extra
So
step.
like, you got to go out your way. If y'all ever see somebody throwing shade on my comments, no, they went out of their way to do that.
They earned that fact. They earned that one. They earned.
Go ahead, baby. Give me my little SEO. And you have to have boundaries on your stuff too. Like, I have boundaries. Like, you're not gonna go on my page and see a twerk video just because it'll go viral. Why? Because I have my own boundaries. I don't care as much about going viral as having my mental health positive. And also, your page can get hacked. Being, certain things. So like me adding to where you have to follow me to comment, that eliminated all the spam. So it's like, I might have only got 30,000 this month, and I got 40 before. But guess what? I didn't have no hackers. I only had love on my page. And if a nigga threw some shade, at least he had a follow first.
See, and I was talking to the audience 2 nights ago about this, and that I think the future of social media responsibility, especially for folks that have a platform, because you really got fans out here. You really legit have fans. Some people have followings. It's really easy to tell based upon the nature of the comments who has fans. You have people out here who ride for you, Yara. Like, they want to see you win. And with that comes a level of responsibility. And also some people, they have their own feelings about it. Like, man, I should have fans. And it's like, you didn't earn that. But I do feel like I do feel like the future is what you're doing, and I do the same thing. I got 200,000 something subscribers, and folks will, first thing they tell you is, well, you can't avoid it. You just need to grow thicker skin. You need to grow thicker skin. Well, it's like the way that someone grows thicker skin cannot be exactly the same for someone else. And what if you get an onslaught of people who are attacking a vulnerable area that needs more time for growth, right? For anybody else, if they're exposed around certain friends that always neg them or talk negatively about their appearance, they need to get away from them, first of all, so that they can strengthen the filtration system and say, all right, these thoughts that are coming in, are they mine or are they theirs? Cool. Now that you got this in this environment, it's almost like a plant. A plant can't grow around other dead plants in a healthy way, because obviously the environment itself is not productive or is not helpful to it. So I say the same thing about us as human beings. We as content creators, as artists, we gotta put our fucking foot down and protect our shit. And our shit
more
involves,
is not more.
More is what do you mean when you say more is not more?
Because what if you had 700,000 followers, but they're in there like causing ruckus, starting drama, dissing you, causing spam.
Yeah.
You can't even get your message to the real ones, because you got 50,000 fucking comments of graphic design and porn.
not you describing Instagram in one sentence. Well, don't repost that in the reel.
You want 100
It's true.
comments, but 60 of them are fucking forex.
Or telling
Your
me shave your
high
beard,
school
Curtis.
teacher.
Shave your beard, Curtis. Like, I'm not one of your little creative players on NBA 2K. Hey, I liked you better with the flat top, bro. Like, go
Yeah,
home.
like, and you have to be able to joke on yourself too and know when
Sure,
somebody's
of course.
being that or like a fun type troll or trying to humble you and that's not their job or
Mhm.
someone trying to like talk shit about your appearance like oh like trust me everybody I don't care how pretty or how your six pack is if you are popping online you get hate I get but guess what my favorite thing to do is block a nigga what
I love that power.
more
Yeah.
yeah more is not more you need to control okay here's the other thing I always want my fans to be able to have honesty and open dialogue because
hmm
I'm a person of the hip hop culture. So I don't care if somebody disagrees with me.
hmm
Like you can do that respectfully, but my fans will not be attacked on my pages.
That
I'm
part.
in charge of my environment. You're not going to get hacked coming on my Instagram. You're not going to get people calling you whack or
hmm
like for example, if you go on a certain like rapper's page, you might see all drama comments, all hate,
hmm
all people talking about them. Like for me, I would rather create a safe space on my social media
Mm.
because more is not more to me.
I love that.
I care about my fans. So I'll sacrifice 20 comments and turn my comments off so me and my fans can have our own world. I'll make my Twitter private. I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck because maybe my thoughts, I don't want the world to see them. I just want my niggas to see
Right.
them. Like
The people actually
Doritos are
buying.
nasty.
And then too, like when you think about this too, it's like and I did this number one time. Let's show you how nerdy I get with my stats sometimes. I was doing a
Hmm.
stat that was like, all right, Drake sold this amount of records, or I think it was streams, and I did the math according to his following on Instagram, and I was like, fam, it's below 1% of these folks number wise that are actually purchasing any of his shit.
Man, and we're not gonna talk about streams
Oh,
because that's a
that
whole
can be you know
nother.
that can the stream farms and all of that can be ballooned up. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's obviously the look is the look for a reason. It's called the look for a reason.
yeah,
So
yeah. And like I had somebody like come and talk a mess. For example, like I'll let you guys know a story. Like somebody come on my mess being like, "Oh, you're trash. You should just make an OnlyFans, right?
wow,
Your last YouTube con video only did 2,000 views, right?
yeah,
Okay, boom. Numbers are to be interpreted, guys, not literally. Let me give you an example. Maybe you
mm,
only got 300 streams on your video in a month, right? But the video the month before only got 50. So we can look at that two ways. We can say, damn, I only got 300 streams on a video in a month.
mm-hmm.
Or you can say, you know what? I got 6 times the amount of stream I got last
Come on
month.
now,
Wow,
come on.
that's called exponential growth.
Shit,
And so
talk that shit. Come on in, come
for
on. Hey, hey,
come on, man.
look,
I
it
don't
ain't
look
y'all
at the
creates for no
numbers.
reason. Talk that shit,
I'm just trying to
man.
encourage people because this number shit is false. I can't get too much into that. But like
Mm-hmm.
don't think that them millions of streams is real all the time. Stop comparing to these signed artists with access to these other tools you don't
Mm-hmm.
have. If you got 1,000 streams in a month, and then the next, let's say you have 200 Instagram followers. Damn, that's not a lot, man. You got to
Yeah,
get to work, right? But by the summertime in 6 months, you have 400. What did you just do?
yeah,
You just doubled your worth in 6 months or whatever, right? Like,
yeah.
don't look at it as I only have 400 followers. No. What did you have last month? Like, look at your numbers. Stop thinking you're Drake. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not Drake. You're not Drake. You're not them niggas. Look at your numbers from a better interpretation
Mm,
and look at them as exponential growth
right.
instead of a flat stat. Like, yeah, you might have only averaged 8 points, but guess what? You hit two buzzer beaters this season. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, I don't know, like if I'm explaining this
no, you
correctly, but
you
like
are.
I don't,
Can I want one perspective to add to that? Because this is something I said
of
earlier.
course.
How? Okay, let's compare this number. I got a hundred
Hmm.
and I got 75 streams. I'm
Hmm.
embarrassed, right? All my friends got this. I'm looking at the numbers and I'm like, damn, it's so far away from 1,000.
Hmm.
Have you ever went to Chipotle during a rush hour? What is the main complaint you would have at a any Chipotle in America at rush hour? As you're trying to go in there and get your meal, maybe you're on lunch break. What would be the first thing you probably say? And you on
The
time?
line's
It's
long.
too many people.
Time.
That's only
Yeah.
that's only capacity of an average Chipotle, which is 75. And we talk
Hmm.
about how 75 is so little people, and we don't take into context how many of these rooms could it have been 2 or 3 people listening. That one stream might account for 6 different ears, right? We would never know that
Man.
because we would never like I have this theory that most of the people that we affect with our music, we will go this entire life and never have one engagement with them, one interaction with them. There's people who remember songs that we did that we've forgotten about, that we wrote and recorded and produced, that came on during a time they were going through a breakup. And it's like,
Mm.
how do you put that value in a box called a stream number, a vanity statistic that does not tell the whole story? Which is why, like,
Yes, and I love that term.
I go so hard for independence because it's like the vanity statistics fuck us up.
So I'm gonna give you an example, right? Brain feeder. Um,
Love that song, by the way. That's my joint right now. Like I hadn't heard it
Thank
before. That's my
you.
joint. Yeah.
Thank you. Brain feeder. I put it on YouTube as just a song before the video. In about 2 weeks, it did 1,000. It did 1,000 spins on YouTube. All my numbers are organic, by the way. So
Mm-hmm.
there's that.
Slow.
Whether it's good or bad, like it is what it is. So, but guess what? That motherfucker had like 30 comments within 1 week. I
Yeah.
see comment after comment. It says the algorithm brought me here. Who's here from blah blah? Who's here from blah blah? So instantly, I could get sad. Like I could be like, damn, I wish I did like 100,000. Like I'm popping. Like, like I'm mean. Didn't
Mm-hmm.
know. Guess what? I don't see that. I see the fact that I got 30 comments in a week, which I'd never done before.
Fire.
And then I'm trying to figure out where they came from because everybody's saying algorithm, whose playlist are
Mm-hmm.
like I don't see negative. Like I only see like from the moment I started, my career goes this way,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's one more than the month before
Mm-hmm.
or 1,000 more. But like I tried to figure out the exponential numbers, not the face value stats. Anyone can
Mm.
average 30 if you're on a shitty team.
Yeah.
Like, fuck,
You still gonna get that number one
okay,
pick too. You still finna be
yeah.
at the bottom of the standings.
That's why the average rapper got a career like an NFL player because they looking at these stats for face value. They like, let me hurry up and get 1 million streams and
Sheesh.
add shock value to the video. Well, sex, drugs, money, coochie sells,
Mm-hmm.
but you didn't sell no music, bro.
Yeah.
So
Damn.
that's why you just got to the Grammys in 2 years and then disappeared because
Mm-hmm.
you didn't really look at the numbers correctly and interpret the data. For me, I built over 20,000 Instagram followers and got verified organically because same with YouTube, right? I used to have only 200 followers on YouTube, but I did a campaign. I said I need to get to 1,000, and there's no excuse for why you shouldn't have 1,000 YouTube subscribers as a creator.
Right.
So I started doing contests. I would say, look, I'm gonna give away this shirt. All you gotta do is tag a friend and follow me on Instagram. Next thing you know, I got 451. I'm like every month
Sheesh.
on this certain day, just once a month. I
Right.
try not to hurt myself like comparing, like, but on the 31st of every month, look at your YouTube numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 6 months later, I'm at 889.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
only had 200. So, like, because the thing is, it's hard to get them to hit sub, right? So, like, I'm not looking at like the ways I suck or something. I'm looking at the problem and the solution.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not personalizing that. Like, man, I only have 300 followers. They don't like me. No. How do you get them to click subscribe and not just
Yeah.
watch? Or how can I, like, yeah, I only got 500 streams, but last month I didn't even have a song out.
Yeah.
So
See.
that means you got 500% growth,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Or yeah.
We gonna just say 500% because ain't nobody here doing the math. Whoever do the math, you know it's still a growth. It's a growth. How about that?
1 to 500. Yeah, if you only had one stream, yeah. Yeah, if you only had if you only had 100 streams and
Yeah.
then the next month you got 1,000, that's a what percent growth, guys? Look in the comments.
Don't
You get a
ask me.
cookie.
Don't ask me. Matter of fact, this is a challenge for the
20%.
this is a challenge for the chat.
That's 100 to 1,000
Yeah.
is
A lot more than
that's
one.
a that's like 20% growth. I don't know, but do you see what I'm
I see
saying?
what you're
Stop
saying though.
looking at,
Yeah.
like, don't look at these face value stats because you can score 1,000 points and not make it to the league or win the trophy. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter now. Where the game is so rigged, just look at your input, your exponential growth.
So real.
Did you go, as long as you're going this way, you're gonna be good.
And
Now, if you start going this way, you gotta regroup your
you gotta change
strategy.
something. But I also go back to what I said earlier, and I'm really gonna nail this. I'm really gonna continue to push this campaign because you're an example of it. Like my tribe here, we're called DIYers, and we're just
Hmm.
do-it-yourselfers, right? Um, so what I try to focus in on is the work is the work. The work is
Yeah.
the work, no matter what. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna clock in, and whether you want to come and help me, this is a joke Chris Rock made years ago where he was like, "You ever notice how if your car break down and you sit in the car, ain't nobody gonna come help you, but the moment you get behind that car and start pushing that motherfucker, like everybody comes out, they stop in traffic to help you." It's the same thing with what we're
Manifestation.
manifestation. You attract these folks that come through here, so it's like I'm thinking of the same way in that so much of the following that I've created has been the byproduct of not trying to create a following. It's been about no
Yes.
matter what, they know one thing about Curtis to be true. He's not going to shy away from the hard work. He's not going to shy away from the work, I should say. And whether
No.
I have like, and I think about the algorithms too, sis. Like, why in the hell would Instagram or YouTube pay me in more subscribers, more comments, more followers? Why would they even suggest me if they know the moment he goes viral, he's going to stop his consistency? Why would you do that?
He doesn't upload.
He doesn't know why.
Exactly.
Why would I, as an algorithm, want to pay you off if I know that you're going to lose momentum? If anything, I can keep you going for the next 10 years by just the illusion that you might get here.
Yep. And this goes back to your 10,000 hours and studying your fans. Remove your ego of wanting to be seen and start looking at your fans. Go on their pages. The people who comment next week or something or this weekend, like, again, put on a movie, just
Mm-hmm.
apply yourself. Look at all the people who complimented you and go compliment them on Instagram.
That part.
Watch what happens. You don't have to follow them if you don't want to. Like, no one's trying to force you to be all friendly, but like, imagine if you go to your biggest fan and you
Mm-hmm.
DM them and you like, hey, can I send you a package? Dude,
You'll make somebody
they
day.
like, yeah, and that's
Yeah.
how you cultivate a fan base. Again, like, I'm in the midst of still growing, so I'm not speaking as somebody who's like reached the mountaintop. I'm speaking as somebody who can show you my stats of
Mm-hmm. You're
how I
actively
used to have
doing it.
yeah, yeah. I used to have 14,000 Instagram followers a year ago. A little before that, I didn't have a blue check at all. All these
Mm-hmm.
things I built up like because I listened to my fans. Like, if my fans don't comment something, it probably wasn't the best post. That's okay if I
Mm.
only got 6 comments. But
Yeah.
also, just because they comment doesn't mean it's the best either, right? I have a realistic, like, niggas aren't commenting a bikini picture to go buy a vinyl, right? Like, I gotta keep it real with myself. So, like, and let's say you're a gamer, they might not cross over right away, but they will if you
Mm.
stay in your true community of who you are because you'll never change that. If you like games,
Mm-hmm.
if you're a rapper and you like Call of Duty, you should have a whole Call of Duty like Instagram
Yeah,
and Twitter space,
that
because
part.
you're naturally gonna get along with those people, and then they're gonna be like, ooh, like y'all will vibe on that. Or like if you're a Mexicano or if you're a
Mm-hmm.
Nigerian, like go find the other interests, and they will naturally like your music because
Yeah,
that's community. Like the fact how Curtis is a part of Serato. Well, he raps, but he makes beats.
mm-hmm.
He cannot just be around rap niggas all day. He has to go with the beat makers and
Right,
the
right.
musicians and
Yeah,
the little tech nerds, right?
yeah.
And then they all build, and then they like, oh, I like that song, Ratchet Still Jocking.
Just
Let me get
you
that on my
never know.
playlist.
You never know like, and I used to obsess over that so much, sis, where I'm like, I want them to respect me as a rapper though. I ain't just no damn like, I
Mm-hmm.
started off as a rapper, so there was that pride involved, but once I identified
Yeah.
that, it did not matter. And that when someone's a fan, or better yet a supporter of what you do, they're making a bigger commitment than just your art. They're making a commitment to
Mm.
you, right? They're saying that
Mm.
I rock with you. And I always use the example of like the biggest streamers right now today, like the Kai Cenat, the Gideon, and these folks probably came on because they were gamers at one point, but then they just became a
Mm.
personality that's like, you're a friend that I've never met before. And no matter what you're into,
Yes.
I'm into that too because I just want to see you. It's no different than the friendships we currently have. We are friends often with people
Mm.
who either are just like us, we
Mm.
that we aspire to be like, or that inspire to be like us. That's the circle. That's literally our best friends is what it is. That's why when we say things, we can finish each other's statements because that's just the
Yeah.
way that we do things as friends. So it's no different with people who are your fan base who feel
Oh
that
yeah.
close, right? Because you got folks
If
buying,
you're an Oakland Raiders fan, go
yeah.
to the Oakland Raiders
Well, you
pages.
better go. You better
Go
go.
follow them. Like you would be surprised how many organic fans that you will find being yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to go pretend to be someone in another space. You just gotta dig deeper into who you are,
Yeah.
and then and shine in those spaces. If you like sneakers, you like football, it has nothing to do with music, but you would be surprised. Like
Yeah.
that's the organic way to build community. Um,
Mm,
but yeah, I feel like there's so many ways to interpret your data, to organize your social media and online presence to where you're not overwhelmed. You just gotta like have a strategy.
mm-hmm.
Start small. If you only have 200 followers, you know what? My goal by May, that's 2 months from now. So like June 1st, maybe you want to double. Stop looking at commas and stuff. Just look at the exponential. I want to go
Mm-hmm.
from 200 to 500 by June 1st. Okay, that's a great tangible goal. But how are you going to do it? Well,
Mm.
I'm going to do a contest, and then I'm going to follow 30 new people every week
I love
that
that.
I would have never, not from my high school, but
Mm-hmm.
from other countries. I'm gonna go. You know what? I realized one of my top countries is Barbados for some reason. I'm gonna go to
Wow.
figure out Barbados
What
Twitter
are, what
and
are the,
follow.
what in the Rihanna's going on here? What what in the Rihanna's going on here? That's
Don't you got
wild.
those? Don't you got random countries?
I
I
do.
like I got a
I,
couple randoms on there.
I got a
Like,
feeling like when I finally make that trip to specifically South Africa, I have a feeling that I'm gonna get.
ooh,
And you gotta. So I'm gonna send this movie to you that you gotta check out if you haven't seen it. Called The Search for Sugar Man. Have you heard of that?
mm-mm, but I'm
Oh
a,
my
I'm a
gosh.
film geek, so you can send me
Okay.
any movie.
I'm gonna send that to you because I don't want to give it away, but I mean I kind of have to a little bit. You'll get the context, but basically it's an artist that got signed, but he got signed at a time when he was just like a Bob Dylan, and they were like, "Yo, you gonna
Mm.
be the GOAT. You gonna be the next one." Da 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 da. He puts out a project, shit bombs. He gets dropped from the label. He goes and does his 9 to 5 thing, thinking that nobody gives a damn about him. Then years later, these documentarians figure out that there's like there was a war in Africa, and the soundtrack of that war was his music. And he didn't even know his music got over there, but it was people who were like bootleggers who took his music over there, and he went over there, sis, and it gives me goosebumps talking about it. He went from working in Detroit 9 to 5, like hard labor. He wasn't really living a very lucrative life. He gave up on that whole dream. He was still making music, but not really for anything. He goes out there, he's driving in the limos, and he sees banners with his face on it.
Oh my God.
Then he gets to a stadium packed out, and they know his songs. Like as an independent,
possible.
that like, and I know that's like the best case scenario, but when you think about that, you start to really put in context, like you said earlier, these numbers mean something, and the things that we think those other numbers mean.
Them.
You know what I'm saying? And the things we think those other numbers mean don't necessarily mean that. Like, you see 1 million, you don't understand how much of that might have came from a stream farm, or how much of that could have came from something that's not authentic. And you gotta love where you're at, because this shit is as real as it gets. If you're getting quote unquote only 30 streams, it don't get no more authentic and real than that, because now you're like, all right, we in the beginning, cool.
And then look at this, I'm crazy, so I might see a 30 and I'm like, if I could get 30, I could get 60. If I could get 60, I could get 100. If I could get 100, I could get 10,000.
That part.
I don't look at my data and like beat myself up unless I had a specific goal ahead of time that didn't get reached, which is rare.
That's a big difference.
I don't really, like if I have some, like a reason to, right, being realistic, but if I just put something out into the world that I did my best on, whatever those numbers are, that I accept them, and then I look for exponential growth. Or if I exponentially went backwards in something, like, damn, you just lost 100 Instagram followers. That might be a little concerning, because it's like, well, what did you say or something, right? But I don't look at like every day my numbers. I look at my numbers once a month. I don't try to hurt myself or compare based off. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight, man. These artists have access to things you guys don't even know, that Curtis and I probably do know. Like, there's things y'all don't even, like, we probably can't even really talk about a lot of things, but just know you're we all got knives, and these niggas got like choppers and army tanks. And that's okay, because like, look, David beat the giant with a slingshot.
Sure did. I got that tatted on me. That's yeah, I got that. But you know what? It was a dumb and young tattoo, because I put Dewan as David. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I put Dewan as David, and like I didn't put Curtis. I put Dewan. I had the sideburns. I was so excited to get this tattoo, because at that time I was like, yo, this shit finna be like, I really feel like that. I went through a crazy situation where I almost lost my life, and I was like, oh, I'm that. But the tattoo idea was a lot better than the execution. I had a homie that worked at Quiznos with me. And he was like, I do tattoos. That was the worst mistake. No, I'm playing. And he invited me. He invited me to his house, and he was like, "Yeah, we gonna do this in the garage." It's the second problem. And he sat there and etched this, so I got to get it fixed. But right now, it is Goliath getting his head stomped out, and it's me as David. But I relate to that, even though this is a terrible version of it. I relate to that, because it's like, in a lot of situations we have had to be David with the sling, but it feels like, and you tell me if you feel any different, when I look at like just the way your layout is with your Bandcamp, you're selling vinyls, you're selling merch, you're selling direct to consumer opportunities for them to see you live, you're doing sponsorship opportunities, you got a distribution deal that you ink through your own work, you got catalogs, sis. I'm seeing you do all these things already on your own, at your own pace. I'm sure, of course, you have your team and you have folks that help what you do at times, but I see how much you're involved and how much you do this. It makes me feel like, is it so much David and Goliath anymore if we take the numbers off the table? Because these folks from this other industry, when they come to the internet, yeah, you can buy your way into certain places, but Gen Z's fucking different. Gen Z different. They a little different. The same way, like my generation might have came up and saw an infomercial and it was like, oh man, Michael Jordan endorses this. I know I can trust it. Gen Z, like, I don't give a shit. I don't care who you got to endorse this. So
Yeah.
what do you see, like how much, or do you feel like the playing field is being a bit more evened out for independence?
I think that's a tough question
Okay.
because the access is there. Let me, I'm gonna be honest with you,
Mm-hmm.
right? After all, because clearly I'm willing to do the work. Clearly I learn and then I apply. Like I'm willing to learn anything I have to do to succeed in music. If I have to be a marketer today, if I
Right.
got to be a stylist, I'm gonna learn it to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in my perfect world, I would get up every day and just make music, man. I wouldn't have to spend 20 hours discipline logging my hours of how I'm gonna mix and master something, right?
I feel that.
Because I give my I treat this shit like class. I take it seriously. How I told you I study albums. I Before I do something, I study it, even
Mm-hmm.
though it's DIY.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it might not be good at first, but I still put the time in, right? In a
Yeah.
perfect world, musicians could just be musicians, man.
Yeah.
Like, we
That's
wouldn't
real.
have to glitch the matrix. I fucking don't care about Instagram or Twitter, but I do because my fans are there
Yeah.
and it's free.
Yeah.
And it's a way for me to make money on a free thing and grow my brand. But
Mm-hmm.
in a perfect world, should I have to do any of this to make a good album?
Yeah.
I mean, no. So I believe that the playing field is getting more even, but why does again I'm not discouraging anybody because again I'm doing it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm here with y'all. But why do we have to do all these things if we just want to sing or
Yeah.
we just want to rap? So I think that it's changing because like the access is there, but what about the kids who they don't want to be celebrities, but they want to be successful guitar players
I
and
got
make albums,
I got an
you
answer for
know?
you, sis. I got an answer for you right here. And you saying this
Mm-hmm.
is helping to kind of remind me of my purpose in this space of
Mm-hmm.
media is that folks like I out here exist. Folks like LaRussell exists so that you
Mm-hmm.
have so that we all have the luxury, because it's not just us doing this for you, it's us doing this for us as independents as well. But we
Yes.
create these platforms so that you can say what you're saying right now, and it has a ripple effect. It has an effect on people that are like, you know what, I am going to go buy more vinyl from her. I am going to go invest
Mm.
into the next thing I see. And it's like, I know it's not it's not a band-aid, it's not going to heal everything, but I know that it starts with us
Yeah.
taking over how we're presented, taking over media, taking over how the content looks, taking over even like, oh, wait a minute, you guys can have a conversation like this that's not about drama or gossip or bullshit, and people are still in tune to that. There's an audience for that. I think
Yes.
people are still blown away by even that, but it's like we have to be, in a lot of ways, so great at what we're doing in areas that we don't want to do it in, because whenever I hear some,
That's our culture.
that's our
It's our
culture.
culture.
But whenever I hear like myself say, why do I have to do this? I also remind myself, damn, there's a privilege in that, and I get
Yes.
to do it, right? So,
And to
uh,
add to that, like again, like guys, I can't like I come from nothing. The
yeah,
fact of y'all see like when I see somebody like corrupt post my rap video, y'all, I come from nothing. I don't have a momager.
yeah,
I don't even have an older somebody who taught me how to rap, right?
yeah,
Like I really, really love this.
yeah,
And I say that to say like sometimes if you want to do something just like the defense thing, like you it just comes with the territory.
mm-hmm.
And if you want to do it, you got to do other things to do it. But at the end of the day, like your vision is your vision, and if you're willing to do what it takes to accomplish,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get that. And sometimes that's a little bit more than what you might want to do.
That part.
But when I get discouraged about I want a newer laptop Or I wish I had a Mercedes Sprinter van so I could just tour myself. Like
ain't
I'd
that
be having
ain't
these
that the independent
crazy,
luxury right there? That's an independent luxury right there. Seeing them Sprinter vans, oh, you really doing it out here.
like I'd be like, man, I wish I had an iPad because I could do whoop wop. I wish I had a Neumann U87, man. My voice sounds
Mm,
real good on one
right.
of them. Like, but then I literally think about my ancestors
Yeah.
because, like, first of all, I think of my ancestors. They didn't have these privileges, as Curtis said. And also, I think about people in third world countries, man. As broke as I might feel, or you might feel, or whoever in America,
Mm-hmm.
we still have access to iPhones, Wi-Fi, and computers. And
Yeah.
so there's no excuse, right? Like, so me complaining about having to mix and master my shit, the thing that gets me out of that is thinking about the kid in Brazil
Yeah.
who don't even fucking have running water
Man.
and they find a way to get their music online.
Yeah.
There's this little Brazilian girl I follow. She is special. She is a like baby Celia Cruz. I'll send you her page. I
Please
forget her
do.
name, but
Yeah.
I'll put it on my story so everyone can see her actually. That little girl, like seeing people from other countries with way less than us that are making art, it inspires me because it's like this person, like, okay, there's this group of people in an area of Africa. Their Wi-Fi doesn't work
Mm-hmm.
except like one day a week or some shit, right? So like
Whoa.
they got all these old iPhones and like they'll all meet up and like make rap videos.
That's
Now,
crazy.
like imagine like if we technology is like where it is if you're rich, right? As much as we want to say AI and all this shit, the average individual around the world doesn't have access to the newest iMac or the fastest internet. We got to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
We're in America, we forget that. The rest of the world, most people don't even have a car, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck are we talking about, right?
Yeah. That
So
part.
when you, I say that to say when you get discouraged or me or whoever, remember those people who are trying to do what you're doing that have even less than you. They don't
Mm-hmm.
have, you might not have a laptop, but I guarantee you can get a library card.
And I hate to be that back in my day head ass person, but I did go to the library, and it's like
Come on.
I remember how little of folks that look like me, not even just from a cultural standpoint, but from a hip hop standpoint, that weren't there. I was in these places reading books, and it was like I'll never forget.
Yes.
I never forget a gym that I live by to this day was because I was in the library on some like I gotta. There wasn't as much literature there as there is today for hip hop back then when I was doing what I was doing. But I read a book where this dude
Mhm.
did an autobiography, and the first page said, "My grandmother told me, the more you know, the more you owe," and that shit stuck with me. But
Ooh.
it's like I don't get that experience if I'm only searching on Google. Some of these physical
No.
these physical experiences are that for a reason, and
Yes,
sometimes,
guys, go to the library, go to the
yeah,
record stores,
I was gonna
pick up all this.
Yeah, I was gonna say really quick is that sometimes in this digital world, you gotta find what is the complete contrast, what is the complete opposite for you to be great in this time because everybody else, like you said, is following one thing. But it's so
Hmm.
easy when you just like, all right, everybody's on the internet, nobody's in the library. Look at this abundance of shit that I got in front of me. So I appreciate you saying it.
You
Yeah,
can definitely go to library and use the computer. You can, let's say you're like, oh, I don't have an engineer. I'm a girl. Every time I go to the studio, dudes are doing XYZ, right?
yeah.
Well, do you have an iPhone? Okay, so you have GarageBand. You better get the fuck on YouTube and spend 5 hours a week.
Yeah.
Dedicate. It doesn't matter what day. Don't try to put a day and a time on it. Just say 5 hours a week.
Run it up.
Like,
Yep.
yeah, or 2 hours a week. And you
Mm-hmm.
better like learn GarageBand on the iPhone like Steve Lacy's genius ass. Like you can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it. Like, and then if don't get discouraged if you don't have a team, you don't have a in you don't have a fucking chaotica, you don't have a
Right.
Neumann, you don't have like I don't have Sony speaker monitors. Like I don't have an Apollo. Listen, these kids are geniuses in these third world countries. They taking broken iPhones and putting them together
They're not
and
waiting.
walking to use Wi-Fi once a week
They're not
and
waiting.
figuring out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like you can do it. Like America makes everybody feel poor and not worthy. But guys, we are where they say we're a wealthy country. Again, like don't compare yourself across here. Look at the world. The average person don't have a car. The average
Right.
person don't have run. Most people don't have running water around the world, dude. Like, don't get discouraged looking at fake wealth. Like,
That part.
you got it. You're on an iPhone and a computer now. You wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
be able to hear this. So
Like,
if you have that,
well, think about this: the fact that you started off at I'm still, my brain is still wrapping around that. You started off at a coffee shop having this conversation with us, which we're so grateful to have all of this time because we know the demands it requires to be independent, the demands it requires to do the things that you do. But you start off at a coffee shop, gave us serving up gems. Then you proceeded to walk down the street, went home. Can't you know what I'm saying? Like we're living in a time where that is a possibility as other people are traveling to and from work. Some of them are cooking up dinner right now with the headphones on. Like it reminds me of like the last scene of this movie called Truman Show. Or no,
I
the
love
cable.
Truman Show.
Well, not Truman Show. Cable Guy. Cable Guy. It's another Jim Carrey. But I love
Okay,
Truman
Jim
Show too.
Carrey.
Jim Carrey. Like at the
Yeah.
end, there's this montage that just shows you how many different worlds collide when TV is on. And I think about these situations now as we're talking. Like there's so many walks of life that remind us of just the abundance that we have. And I I encourage you so much, sis. As I told you when we were preparing for this, you for real got an ally. And whatever you're
Oh,
releasing, whatever, like, even if you got like a topic, you're like, yo, indie artists need to know this. I got to put y'all up on game. That's always here. I just want to make sure these people, because we've been making a lot of conversation about the how you do it and haven't had a chance to
hmm
really dig into the music. But I do want to have at least one opportunity. I know we're going over time, but to
it's okay.
I appreciate that to let these people know. Matter of fact, give them three hot ones. Give them three of your songs. If you've never heard a YaH-Ra song, three of them songs that would be like, all right, I got the vibes. Can you think of three right now?
Yep.
Give it to us.
So you're gonna go to your streaming device, your
Okay.
Bandcamp, your YouTube.
All right.
YaH-Ra, YaH-Ra. Song one is called Brain Feeder. One word, similar to the record label. Brain Feeder.
That part. All right. I'm
The
gonna
next
type this in
song.
there. Hold on. Let me type this in there. Better make
Remember,
sure.
this is in real time, y'all. So
Brain feeder. Boom. That's number one.
the second song is gonna be called Zooted. That is like zoo as in an animal, and then TED as
Mm-hmm.
in TED Talks. Zooted
All right.
by Planet Asia and Yara.
Okay.
And my last song, I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna do something like singing, like for my beautiful ladies and my men who still believe in love and they're not like mad internet players.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say type in Yas Jam. That's YaHS and then Jam. Similar to like Teddy's Jam or Schoolboy Q's Jam. You
Mm,
know how they do that?
yeah.
Yeah, that's how I do that. That's where I got that.
You got to add you got to add that in there. Like don't come in here
Yeah.
talking about for my fellas in here that got love. We didn't hear what you said earlier. It's like I'm in a relationship. I
I'm
ain't
the
thinking about
problem.
this, nigga. I ain't thinking about
I
that.
ain't thinking about I ain't thinking about this nigga at the laugh. What? I'm trying to drop bars.
I'm playing with you. I'm taking everything out of, I'm being bad media. I'm taking everything out of context. So when you said earlier, how does that contradict with the, no, I'm playing with you. We playing with
So
you.
are you the problem or are we
Yes,
the
I am the
problem?
problem.
Let's
I will
let's
always
get
be, no, I will always. You know, I saw a quote one time. It jacked me up. You know, when you reading something and you just kind of have to like put the book down for a second and sit there and like just like hold that embarrassment. It said all them relationships you tell people about that you had that were so whatever. It said, what's the common denominator?
Ooh, you the problem. It's called the mirror, baby. It's called
I
the
was like,
mirror, baby.
I told the book, I said, don't be saying them inside thoughts out loud to me like that. Like, I can hear you. Don't do that. Don't
Right.
disrespect me like that. But
Like
it's,
I'm saying, all my exes still come back to me. Like, okay,
you
maybe
might not
y'all
want to
all
say,
crazy.
you might not want to say that. Yeah, yeah. So I say that to say that, yeah, that we all have that. Because I know for sure there's songs in my catalog that I'm like, I don't know if I want my wife to hear those. Like, I don't know if
Ooh.
it's like, oh, so that's how you was. I was like, no, that's just how I was rapping, cause it was cool.
Oh, that was based on my homies now.
Now my homie, like, he came up with the concept. It was real crazy. Like, I don't really be doing like I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Cause as far as she
Oh,
concerned,
Noah James had Ghost wrote that one, baby.
no, not putting Noah underneath the bus. Not doing. I can't do that to him, cause
Look,
cause every time he come
he got
around,
his lady.
every
He
time he
got
come,
his lady. He
every
gonna
time
be
he come
good.
around, it's a side eye. Like, oh, you the reason, knowing damn well I'm the one that came up with it. My ratchet ass. That being said, yo, I have all of your links here in the description, but I want to ask a different
Perfect.
question to kind of close this all. We hold on, you're not gonna hear this, but I'm about to give you a round of applause. They hear it, you don't hear it right now. So a round of applause because
I can hear it in
you
my
can.
heart.
Okay, cool. Just making sure because it sounds kind of crazy as I'm sitting here like this, waiting for the clap to stop. But nah, for real, you came. This is exactly the reason I wanted to invite you, was because I knew it was gonna be gems. I knew it was gonna be from a good-hearted place, and I also know how hard you work on the things that you do. And there's so many people in here that also they see themselves in you, because we know what it's like to be in rooms where we're outnumbered. We know what it's like to be in rooms where the pressure's on, but we also know what it's like to put up or shut up, right? And to be unapologetic about our shit. And that's something I love about what I see with how you're evolving. Seeing your artwork and seeing just seeing the different eras of YaH-Ra. I'm supremely proud. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. I hearing you
Yeah.
earlier talk about how much we kind of set the pace, but now you are
Yeah.
establishing a new pace, and there's young dudes and young ladies that are looking up to you for the answers. And so it would be a disservice if we didn't, as OGs, leave the opportunity for you to have the platform and just say, look, you got more game in these specific areas than we could ever give. Please bless the folks with that. And you did that. So with that said, YaH-Ra, any last bits of encouragement or any kind of advice, and then give us wherever they can connect with you, all that good stuff. We get into that part of this, but we're grateful for you.
Okay. Well, I'm super honored to be a guest. Like I said, y'all, I used to run behind these guys and like be like, man, they doing paid dues. Like I want to do paid dues. Like fuck, this nigga's on the big stage. Like he's going viral. So like seriously, like I couldn't be who I am if it wasn't for like people like Noah James, you, Currency.
Appreciate that.
Like there's Planet Asia. There's so many people who like it all. That's the part of the culture that they try to make us forget about. The
Mm-hmm.
culture matters because we matter and our community matters and the younger artists matter. So like salute back to you, man, because like you guys inspired our whole generation and further beyond, and continue to open doors and opportunities like this
I
to
appreciate that.
anybody. Hell yeah, like from the bottom of my heart. And to anybody even younger than me and like even younger than that, like my biggest advice is number one, like exponential growth.
Mm-hmm.
Don't look at your stats at face value. Just have a plan and interpret your data wisely and look at your exponential growth rather than these crazy numbers. Number two, invest in your mind and invest in your soul as much as you do your art, and nobody could test who you are or make you do anything you don't want to do because you'll be so into your own 10,000 hours
Mm,
and your own plan. You're going to be like, that ain't for me, but I'm cool here. Like, because I got my 10,000 hours going. I got my fans. I got my exponential growth. I got my 200 followers or whatever. So I would say like as much as you invest in your brand, invest in your education and your soul, and that will balance out the crazy lifestyle and the internet madness and these like vultures and these people in the game who want to milk you and like take advantage of you. And lastly, I would say like be kinder to each other because
Hello.
like as a woman, if more men were kind to me, I might already be a millionaire by now, like just in general, just or if if like women could be kinder to men, like we all could work together. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
just plays one artist 24/7, y'all, unless they're a serial killer. Like there's space.
Or unless they bumping you, right? Unless they bumping you, right?
Yeah, my biggest fan. Yeah, like
That's the only
like
exception. That's the only exception. Other than
yeah.
that,
So
you
be
crazy.
competitive. Yeah, right. Like be competitive, but don't ever forget the power of community and cross connection.
That part.
Like there's more power in rappers teaming up than killing each other.
Yeah.
And you might want to sleep with this female rapper and belittle her. Meanwhile, she might really make you $1 million if y'all had just
Mm-hmm.
kept it business. So just respect each other and be nicer to each other, and the game won't feel like how it feels too. Like be mindful as artists that we're more than sales. Art is forever. When we all die, our art will be here.
Mm-hmm.
And so, remember that. Like treat each other better and treat yourself good. And yeah, you're gonna be good. Um, you could find me on Instagram at YAH Creates. I'm on Twitter, YAH_creates. Um, like people always text me and email me like on my contact. You can do that. Like and check out Planet Asia.
Shout out
He's
Planet
crazy
Asia.
dope.
Yeah.
Yep, because he's part of the reason why I'm able to do this too and expand. So, yeah, shout out to Gold Chain. Shout out to Curtis King.
Hey, look,
Man, shut
we
up.
giving your roses. You know what I'm saying? Don't. You know what I'm saying? Don't look. I gave you an alley oop. You jumped in the air, threw it up, and gave me another alley oop. Like, nah, I want you to get these 2 points. Look, no, you take that alley oop, you slam that down because your catalog. And most of all, like
Laker
who
Bear.
you are. That's huge. That's huge. That's huge. Come on now. Look,
Laker
come on.
Bear.
Stop playing. Stop playing. And it's Laker gang in here. I need it after old gosh was in here slandering my Lakers. There's nothing worse than seeing your team beat the brakes off the Patriots. And he's sitting in here. He's sitting in here like, damn, they up by 30. They could be up by 40, but everything ain't for everybody. I'm like, you just a Laker hater, but yo, Yara, we it's a blessing to have you here. It's a blessing to see you in all of your independent excellence because there's so many folks out here that are looking at you and saying like what's possible. And you being apologetic and then also you being San Bernardino in your blood. I don't think they understand it until they start hearing some of these bars like was it the name of the song Missiles?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hey, like it's the voice and it's the demeanor. Like I said what I said. I love that so much, and I feel like that is the balance that hip hop misses. So as you see us out here encouraging, and at some point in time, just know like we overdue. You know what I'm saying? For a record or you know what I'm saying? Like we overdue. So I'm just like throwing out in the atmosphere. Like you didn't have to get a Laker Bear out to get this collaboration going.
Let's get it.
Okay, then you did it again. All right, there it is. So no, we got to for sure. So y'all go do your homework, do your Googles, all that good stuff. The information is in the description in the show notes. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. And everybody that's been watching and listening, thank you so much for supporting this podcast. If you haven't caught on yet, because we've only had 2 guests, YaH-Ra is the second of a month full of some of the most powerful women that I have contact within our network, within my network, I should say, that are really out here killing it in celebration of Women's Month. So I have a lot of ladies in here who don't always feel like they're represented because there's always a bunch of dudes in here.
Shout out to my ladies in the comments.
Come on, let me throw a round of applause in there real quick. So, yeah,
Thank you for making space for us, Curtis.
Always, because it's ironic And I'll say this: it's ironic because I hate really saying this without having the proper context. But and we'll talk about this at a later time as well. But there's been so many rooms, and you mentioned a lot of names where I go in the room in the same way my sis will describe to me, feeling outnumbered, or feeling like you're being pressured to live by somebody else's code. In my own version, I've been there. So when I hear this, I empathize on a level as much as I can as a man, but I know what that shit feels like. And I know how nasty it feels when you leave a room and it's like, that wasn't me. But I did that shit because somebody else had more clout or because they had more power in the room. And I know that feeling, but I also know the feeling of when people don't think you gonna be shit. And then you going not only be shit, but you become some shit that they like, hey, can I see what you doing, my guy? Can I fucks with you? Like, you gonna ask me now, right? I think even though our folks ain't on the best of terms with Grant Cardone, he did say something one time that I sometimes you got to take the messenger away from the message. But he said, work so hard that your haters have to gather around your campfire because they want to stay warm too.
Man, the same ones who try to stomp your fire out.
Come on now. Don't start a verse. Don't start a verse and then we trying to end this. Don't start a verse and then get these folks these bars like that. I heard the voice changed like you starting to show off. I heard that.
Look, we gonna come back. I'll come back.
All right,
and tap in again soon.
And like I said, we got the sessions that we do live, the Flocation. So if you ever wanted to come and cook up and all that, they would love to see that and see you in action because you are truly a DIYer out here making us proud. So one more time, round of applause. Of course, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Yara. Look in the show notes for more information. Thank you so much for tuning in. Much, much love to y'all. Hey, have an amazing night. I'll see y'all soon. All right, see you tomorrow, actually, for Flocation. Have a good